Oh, that after the war the Nazis vanished without a trace, but battalions of fascists to dream of the master race. The history books they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots, the maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell, of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I was born in a Dublin street where the loyal drums do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra. Come tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives, bows and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra. Come let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gillishandra.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch all with the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead.
Oh, come out, you pretty sons, come out and fight without your guns. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green.
Hello there, hello there, hello there everybody. How the devil are we all? I am very well, I thank you for asking. Although I have somewhat mistimed proceedings this evening. Because the games are still ongoing. Yeah, that's right, I waited till after the football, and what? Except I didn't really wait till after the football.
Stop it.
But that's not the point.
Get some help.
Well, I really should, Michael, thank you. Thank you, Miss Reeb? Miss Rebbe? Miss Rebbe. However you pronounce that. God bless you. Oh, thank you very much for your 6 months. Cop with Down syndrome threatens to beat up black man. I think we won't watch that, but thank you, I can't give a duck. Yes. Yeah, England are 1-up on Serbia, which is good. But what's even gooder is that the Republic of Ireland are beating fucking Ronaldo-less Portugal 2-0. And when I say Ronaldo-less, they weren't Ronaldo-less for the first hour. He got sent off. Which is, you know, it's always good to see a rapist face any comeuppance ever for anything. So that's nice. It's a comedy bit, but sure. Well, even so, let's, you know. You can't say I don't play plenty of the things you send. I can't give a duck. This is not an I can't give a duck hate stream or whatever, you know. Some bloke scored 2 goals for another. He's fucking mental, isn't he? Haaland just this season is he scoring about a goal a game or something ridiculous? The man needs to he needs to be stopped. He can't keep getting away with this. Except when it's against Israel and then it's absolutely based. But yeah, Ireland have 2-0 up and now only a point off a fucking playoff spot, having had an absolute shithouse at the beginning. They lost 2 of the first 3 games. And they'll only be a point out of the playoff spots with 1 game remaining in qualification. Which presumably will be... Oh, England just hit the fucking post. Which, yeah, presumably will be midweek. Or at the weekend or whatever. Yeah. Haaland is Hamas. He is Hamas, that is true. Facts. Now, I should probably explain to you all where I've been, because I took a couple of days off. The first one, perfectly acceptable. The second one might be a little embarrassing for the Kev. Just a smidge. Just a little tiny bit. Holland has 53 goals in 47 games for Norway. Mental. Anyway. Right, so... On Tuesday, I spent the afternoon with my nephew, my nearly 2-year-old nephew. We went to the park. It was lovely. I had genuinely one of the cutest moments ever. He's only just starting to sort of grasp words and what some of the words mean, and he clearly understands the word give, as in to hand a thing over, because like. When you've got something that you don't want the kid to swallow, you say, "I'll give it here," and then you so they don't swallow it or choke to death, because children are fucking stupid. You understand? Anyway, he understands the word give. So when we said, "Oh, give," hey, 2-0 England, lovely stuff. And another black guy scoring. So are black guys that are born in Britain, are they okay now? I'm just checking with the flag wankers to see, because two black guys have scored for England. So does that count? Yeah, I don't know. It's woken us gone mad. Anyway, my young nephew. I said to him, because my mum was there as well, right? We were at the park, I said to him, give Nanny a kiss. And so he looked at me weird for a second, and went, kissed into his hand, and then went and gave it to her, like it was a thing he could hand over. And I genuinely, my heart melted. It was too cute. My ovaries were all over the place, mate. It was a nightmare. Honestly, and I will embarrass him by telling that story to all of the people he ever knows. So yeah, and kids are stupid. Yeah, I did try and I did try and explain to him that that's not how it works, and that actually what he's done there is very foolish. He mostly wanted me to go on the slide again, and that's basically why I wasn't on Tuesday, because he wanted me to keep going on the slide, which knackered me out, because you have to climb up these fucking steps, and like it's not built for a fat cunt like me, so I had to sort of sneak through and then slide down. Oh god, it was annoying. So I was tired, and I thought, okay, I'll just have the day off Tuesday. Problem was Wednesday, right? So I was going to do the, I usually pop on and do Prime Minister's questions or whatever on Wednesdays, and had the football not been on before doing this, I might have done the Prime Minister's questions basically in the last couple of hours, but I've been watching football. Anyway, this is quite embarrassing. This is such an old man way of like nearly dying, basically. Even though I didn't nearly die at all, totally over the top. Anyway, about 3 in the afternoon, I was watching a bit of telly. Started feeling a little bit rumbly in my tumbler. A little bit, hang on a minute. Kev needs to go for a shit. You're thinking to yourself, well, this is perfectly normal so far. Now, I went to the toilet and did not lower myself with sufficient care.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Perfectly
What's
timed.
a better way to give you money?
Perfectly timed. Perfectly timed, considering. Anyway, I went to sit down a bit too sort of quickly. You're supposed to bend with the knees, aren't you? It's bend with the knees and lower yourself. I didn't do that. I did a herky-jerky, drop down onto the thing, pulled a muscle in the bottom of my back, and I was in fucking agony. I took the most painful shit ever, right? Oh no, the seat didn't collapse or anything. That was fine. I was completely fucked though, and it's still sore now. Right, the bottom left-hand side of my back. Oh, I pulled a muscle like a bastard, and I had to obviously, you know, do the poo and then clean up and all the rest of it, and I just got enough energy left in my body to drag myself back to the living room, and I just had to lie flat down on the carpet, just on the bare ass fucking floor. Just like that, for like 2 hours, right? And I had to I gave myself a massage on my back and all the rest of it. Put some Bonjela on it. It was fucking agony. Any kind of, you know, twisting of the lumbar or anything, and it was just shocks of pain through my fucking lower back and upper left leg. Bit of a bastard. Anyway. It wasn't, thankfully, it's nothing as serious as a slip disc. It was clearly just like a little pull of a muscle or something, because it's basically fine now. Still a little bit sore, but not terrible. Didn't even wipe. No, I did wipe. I said I cleaned up. What did you think that meant? When I said I cleaned up and it was fine, like, what was your takeaway from that exactly? Anyway, England won 2-0, and Ireland are still playing for some fucking reason, but they're 2-0 up and they're going to win, which is fucking dope. And yes, the person who asked Cristiano Ronaldo really is a rapist, yes. Look into the civil case that the American woman had against him. Grim stuff. Trust me on this one, invest in an electric heat pad. You'll have to tell me more about that, Maranaka, possibly in the what you call it, in the DMs or something. Thank you, Jacob R, with $10. He said, "What's a better way to give you money?" Well, yeah, super chats are absolutely fine. You can also do. I'll tell you what. I'll just do the stream, right? Basically, PayPal is probably the best, really. But either way, I'll do my shilling now, right? You can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. You can also punch the microphone like a cunt if you really wanted to. Fuck's sake. You thought I was going to say I got my arse stuck in the bog? Is that actually what you think?
You just assaulted me.
You did. Fact. You can do bits messages, 200 bits or more gets you a text-to-speech. You can do super chats for the Streamlabs link below. $2 or more, they get you a text-to-speech. PayPal is fascist. Everything's fascist. What payments... Do you think YouTube... Like, YouTube has fascists on it, and you're on YouTube. Like, it's just... Like, I don't want to be that guy, but, like... There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. And yet you can put... And yet you engage in society. I am very smart. I'm only playing with you. Anyway, you can help me out on Patreon and or PayPal. Those are things you can do. I've got Discord, YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. If you're on YouTube, hello. You can hit the follow button. No, you can't. You can hit the subscribe button. I will get it right one day. I fucking will. Draw! You can subscribe for nothing. You can hit the bell icon to get notifications of the... very occasionally when I go live. I do not have a P.O. box, Michael. And also it's not safe to send raw cash in the post anyway. Do they still do traveller's checks? Is that still a thing? Probably not.
The return of the sausages.
The fire brigade did not have to remove the seat from your bum with the jaws of life. This I believe.
You just assaulted me.
Straight off the rip. Straight off the rip tonight, getting absolutely fucking abused. Violated. Unbelievable. I try and open up to you about my medical concerns, and this is how I get treated. But thank you, Phil. If someone else does a thing, we get on a hype train now, which would be fucking dope. Anyway. You can hit the, yeah, so you can subscribe on YouTube. I'll get through this. We're only fucking 20 minutes in. You can subscribe to the channel for free. You can thumb the video up. You can hit the bell icon to get notifications. You can do become a member for 99 pence. You can gift memberships to the community, and you can do super chats, as indeed was proven not that long ago.
He's a stiff dick of poop.
I need to get less funny and distracting sound alerts. I need to make this stream a lot more boring, I think. That's the only way I can get through this. Anyway, you can also do super chats, and that's cool. Fucking kill me in Minecraft. Right, we're going to be joined by No Justice of the MTGs in the not too distant future. But there was one thing. Can we expect the Mr. Streamy artist's impression of the incident? Possibly so, but if they do,
get some help.
If they, well, yeah, that. But also, just fucking, if you do that, 255, chill. Bear in mind in terms of service and such. Thank you, Madcat Scotty Eye, for gifting a sub. Much love to you. Everyone going follow Madcat Scotty Eye / Katie Marshall. And thank you to the Cunning Linguist. Here's my hard-earned Bezos box. Yes, thank you for your prime. Much love to you. We're on a hype train. We get to level 2 of the hype train. I will finger Keir Starmer's premiership because it's dead. Except not quite just yet, but basically it's dead. It's at least undead. But not dead. Oh, pardon me. Oh, did a burpee. Anyway, we'll get on to that with No Justice. But suffice it to say, not been a good week for the Prime Minister. Although, to be fair, that could be said of any fucking week. Because the man is an absolute nose. I will turn the alert box off because we're about to get 10 of the thingamajigs. Thank you, Angie Moffat, with 10 gifted memberships. Much love to you. I will do your bidding. Read into that as you wish. Right. One thing I did just want to sort of get into, something that helped me through the pain, the agony of my back problem in the last few days, has been the internet's unrivaled ability to troll the fuck out of fashoids. And that has been very amusing. So, do I actually have the audio? I think I do somewhere. Hang on, that's not the right one. It's no good without the audio. Where's the fucking thing? Oh, for fuck's sake. I definitely bookmarked it and it's been fucking... Anyway, basically it involves the trolling of Tommy Robinson. But I need to have the audio for the fucking start of the thing. And I definitely bookmarked it. And for some reason, maybe they've tried to take it down or whatever. Basically, Tommy was doing what Tommy always does, the fascist piece of shit. Threatening people with violence. Although, of course, always vague enough where he probably gets away with it. But that's only in a legal sense. Where are we? Oh, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. That is... I'm bookmarking that one as well. That's mental. Sorry. Hopefully this makes some fucking sense to you in a second. Hopefully, but I mean, who fucking knows? Oh, it was like 2 days ago. How do I have to scroll this far down? Oh, here we go. Fuck me. Right. Okay. So, there's a guy called... Hang on. Boop. There we go. So, there's a guy called Ginger Tom, who, at least in part, was responsible for the firing of Graham Potter as West Ham manager. Kind of. Anyway. By doing face swaps of him, making him look stupid. Right? And I don't even know what the original interaction was even about. But he managed to get himself mixed up with Tommy Robinson, the little fascist Almo chap. And Tommy Robinson decided to leave him this a genuinely bizarre audio clip.
2 things, mate. 2 things. Your club, a statement went out to all the coaching teams all around your youth about the poppy. If that's...
So he's on about the poppy, the symbol of remembrance and all the rest of it. There was a story, fake story, of course, about West Ham United banning the poppy. Which, of course, Tommy put out there because Tommy doesn't give a fuck. He's not a journalist in any way whatsoever. Never one to miss an opportunity to grift, of course.
What you're upset about. The other thing, you stick my face on any notorious paedophile, I will track you down and find you.
That's an actionable threat. But, Tommy, what did you think was going to happen? When you say... if you put my face on any notorious paedophile, what did you think was going to happen other than your face being put on the face of every single notorious paedophile ever?
You fucking mug. 1,000,000%. Yeah? 1,000,000%. Right? Just to clarify that. So, crack on. Search what your club done around the poppy. Yeah? It's not an anti-West Ham post. It's a go about what the fucking bullshit... Probably because you've got loads of Muslim coaching staff, I'm guessing. So they don't feel forced to wear the poppy.
I'm guessing.
But that's where we're at. So
he doesn't know.
You think you're brave? Go ahead, mate. I'll find where you live. It will take me hours, bruv, to find that.
Suffice it to say, as always with Tommy, he's all mouth and no trousers, as my nan used to say. Basically, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. Okay. He didn't track him down. I don't think he can track him down. But either way, Ginger Tom decided, up with this I shall not put. And that's the one that I saw when I was searching for it. That is fucking Christ almighty. What an image. Holy fucking shitballs. But it gets better. It gets better than that. Where are we? I've got to scroll all the way down now. So I'll have to explain some of these, I think, won't I? So that's a famous British image. That's a famous British image of there we go, of Tommy there. That's him face swapped onto the guy who got out of prison. That's him as Jimmy Savile, as you do. Oh no! Oh no! There's him. There's him as Jeffrey Epstein. What did you think was going to happen, Tommy? When you threaten people like that, what did you think was going to happen, you dopey cunt? There's him as notorious pedophile Gary Glitter. Release the Tommy files, absolutely. Jesus Christ. Christ. Okay. Oh, this one's a thread. Oh, lovely stuff. I hope there's nothing too bad in there. Lovely. Because Tommy's very short, you understand. That's the joke there. They Ronnie Pickering'd him. Ronnie Pickering. The Wheelstone Raider got violated. You want some? You want some? There he is as is it Wadge or brother Barry, isn't it? Yeah. In 4 Lions. You tomatoed a special needs donkey. Unbelievable stuff. Oh no. Oh, that's grim. Nadine Dorris. No way. Oh my God, that's Zippy Hotavelle as Tommy Robinson. Okay. They trumped him, obviously. Mini Me. Liz Truss, naturally. Oh, Jesus Christ. So you've got Benjamin Netanyahu and Jeffrey Epstein. Very similar characters in many respects. Nice. Rolf Harris, again another notorious paedophile. Kim Jong-un. Oh no fucking way. Oh no. No. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh, that's fucked up. So I should be doing commentary on that. Oh fucking hell! I might. Oh, Ian Watkins! No way! as Elon Musk's son. Oh no! Not Fred West. No. Oh. Absolute belters. That one's not even a pedophile. Doesn't matter. Kim Jong-rongan. Oh, that's good. Fucking Prince Andrew. Actually, not Prince, just Andrew. Andrew Saxbo, Coburg, Gotha, Battenberg, fucking Mountbatten up the arsehole. Jesus Christ. Oh. And it's times like this that you remember that Twitter used to have good moments, you know, before fucking Nancy Musk took over. Oompa Loompa, naturally. Princess Di. No way. I mean, that's offensive on a number of levels. And then yeah, that one, which again is that is one hell of an image. Anyway, don't threaten people, Tommy. You little fascist fuck. Also, you know, stop supporting genocide as well, because, you know, you're a piece of shit. Just maybe don't do that. Maybe get a real fucking job or something. Lol. Our true queen. I presume that's in reference to that. And not that. But I don't know. Chatter, that's entirely up to you. Make your own mind up. Question time! I might put that up as a little bit on YouTube. I mean, that's definitely getting demonetized, obviously. Thank you, Idiosyncrasy, with 7 months of Prime. Much love to you. And indeed a 3-stream streak. I don't know why that's happening. And thank you, Stu Viking President, with 4 months of Prime. Much fucking love to you, man. You people are generous beyond, frankly, anything that I deserve. But I appreciate you all nonetheless. Yes, and apologies the noises were off there. But thank you, Derek Holland. Help buy this man a new back. Now, don't worry. I've got plenty of back. It's just that some of it's broken. But, you know. The noises are now back on. Yes, we will be on with No Justice MTG in just a second. She has, to be fair, she rushes back from London every Thursday to do these shows. Because she does Navarra in London. I don't know why she has to go to London for it, but they do, whatever. And then comes all the way back up to. Well, she said, but I'm not doxing her here by saying she lives near Nottingham, which is, you know, a fair old journey by British standards. Americans are like that would still be coastal, like you'd still be on the coast that in that distance inland or whatever. But yeah. Perhaps the in-person hosting pays better. Maybe it does. I don't know. I am not. I'm not going to question it. It is what it is. Ooh. Oh. Genuine question. If the poppy is about remembering all wars, what about the ones where the Brits did scorched earth and more war crimes? We also commemorated those wars too, or... Yeah, basically, yes. That is precisely the problem. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the problems with it. That's why the peace poppy is sort of a thing, I suppose. But I mean, I was thinking about maybe doing a football watch along bit with England today, and what was I going to say? Fuck. Yeah, and I was going to refer to it as the genocide derby or the war crimes derby, because England versus Serbia, those are two nations with sketchy records, shall we say, off the field. Not massively brilliant on the field, to be fair, but certainly off the field. Grim. Hey, hello, Jack Meller. How are you, lad? No Justice just went live. Cool. I had a hell of a time trying to get through to it today, because Elon Musk, another masterful gambit from the world's wealthiest cunt, but has done weird encryption on the DMs on Twitter, which I don't think makes them any safer, but does make it much more difficult to get in touch with anybody. So the only good thing about Twitter that still made me go back there is basically pointless now, I think. So I might actually just never go back there again. I have to tell everybody who's in my fucking notifications or whatever, or in my DMs, to be like, go over to the other thing, you know. Fucking nose. Talking of which, by the way, Graham Hughes got in contact finally on Blue Sky, and is now not responding there either. So I don't know what the trying to set up this debate is it's like pulling teeth, and not in a good way. No, not the Green Party. Google Meet. You fucking. Why did it autocomplete to that? Am I being profiled by Google? Probably. Hardly ever use Twitter anymore. Well, I only use it for things like DMing or for weird shit like the thing we just watched. Because it does still occasionally have nice moments like that. Very occasionally, but you know. I stopped watching Politics Social with Graham. Why is that? Because like he's certainly better than a lot of other Labour loyalist types. Yes. Anyway, Yeah, so we're going to be watching Question Time. Interesting lineup. Zarah Sultana obviously being the kind of standout, but there's yet another Reform Party person. Mental. Graham should have debated you, Kev. Well, I mean, he still might. Maybe. Hopefully.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Wait, Jeremy Beadle now does political commentary?
You just assaulted me.
This Jeremy Beadle slander is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. I'm not even going to say thank you, James. I'm not going to. I'm not going to thank you for abusing me on my own stream.
It's a fucking disgrace.
There you go. So when was the last time Question Time that didn't have a Reform person on? They always have a Reform person on. They're cunts. They've got a surprise old face in Kenneth Clarke. Yeah, Lord Clarke. For the Tories. The Labour Party have a double-barrelled nobody. And Zarah Sultana. So, good stuff. A little out of hand. Little withered one. Oh, no, we're not doing little withered hand jokes. There are plenty of reasons to despise him, and the withered hand is not one. Hello.
Hello, Kevin. How are we?
Well, is that the royal we?
Yes, the royal we.
Well, you are a queen after all, yes. Yeah.
Ooh, or not as much of a queen as the queen for queen time, Zarah Sultana.
I like what you've done there. You've tried, and I appreciate that.
I tried real hard.
You did. Yes, which should be fun, shouldn't it? Yes, so, has anything political happened this week?
Pardon, sorry?
Has any politics happened this week? I don't think anything's happened at all, has it?
No, it's been a
very
real slow week for the news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Speaking of it, it's been fucking hilarious, hasn't it?
It's been amazing.
It's been so good.
It's been amazing to see someone try and head off a coup by announcing that there was a coup when there probably might not have been a coup anyway. Thus possibly making a coup happen. Like, again, I'm beginning to think that Morgan McSweeney is not necessarily the political genius that we were told.
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to Peter Oborne tweeting out it's essentially his single service account that he's become with internationally revered political genius latest news update.
True. Fucking true. The adults in the room have never been more adult or in the room.
It's nice, isn't it? It's nice, isn't it? The quiet.
The quiet, the screaming void. Yes. Unfucking believable.
Oh, dear.
So, yes. I mean, it might crop up on Question Time. Who fucking knows? Because I wasn't. I haven't been watching it because I was watching the war crimes derby between England and Serbia.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, belter. It's a fucking dreadful game, to be honest. But England won, who cares? Yes, so, Question Time from Sunderland, is it? Or was that last week? No, London. There we go.
Fucking London?
Yeah, so there might be some brown people in it.
I was on the train back from London. I had a very lovely conversation with just randoms. Two people I was sitting opposite on the train just sparked up a conversation with me, and they asked me what I did, and then somebody on the chair behind me overheard me talking about what I did, and they were like, "Oh, I know you, aren't you? No Justice MTG."
No
so
way.
Four-way conversation, yeah, it was really.
Oh, weird. Flex! You got recognised on the train because you're basically a celebrity now.
That's the second time I've been recognised on the train. The first time I got recognised on a train was on a train back from fucking Lille.
What?
I know, right? I think I was in Lille playing Magic, and I was on the Eurostar.
So you made it less cool. You made it less cool with the Magic thing.
The thing is, someone said, right? Are you No Justice MTG? And I was just like, oh yeah, were you at the regional championship? And they were like, what? I'm like, I know you from YouTube, your politics. And I was like, what? How? What the fuck is going on here?
You are the MGT? Yeah? No? Yes, anyway. Did you sign a book? Do you, well, that's a point. Have you been asked for an autograph yet?
I've not, no.
Taking pictures, though, surely.
Yes, I've had that.
Yeah.
But you know you've made it when they start asking for the autographs.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Anyway, should we do some question time?
Yeah, I think we've gloated about Keith. I don't think we really need to say more than that, other than just, isn't it very funny how they're fighting like rats in a sack, having said that they were going to put party before country.
Yes, very much so.
For tonight's programme, we've come to the home of the London Symphony Orchestra in the heart of the capital. Our audience, as always, reflects the electoral picture across the nation. Welcome to Question Time from London on the BBC News Channel, iPlayer and Sounds. On tonight's panel from the government, Alex Davis-Jones, the Justice Minister who has responsibility for victims.
An absolute nobody.
Well, I mean, there's two things now about her. First of all, is she tried to get somebody arrested for protesting her. And second of all, is that she once did a promotional advert for the Betting and Gaming Council in a fucking food bank.
Spectacular work, honestly, brilliant. I was going to say she looks a little bit like de-yassified Duffy.
True.
I don't want to be rude, but like, come on. Anyway. So yeah, an absolute piece of shit. And she's the quote-unquote left-wing party representative tonight. Brilliant.
Because we have Zarah Sultana at least.
Well, yes, I mean, okay, to be fair, but I mean, look, from the supposedly Social Democratic Labour Party.
True. We've been asked for a school check. Actually, no, comprehensive school in Cardiff University. So an actual normal human being for once.
Stop. Good.
As normal as.
Get some help.
God.
As long as normal as someone with her career resume can potentially claim.
Thank you, Sozzled Snake, with 20 months. I didn't have to do an age verification for this. Take that, Starmer. Yeah, Twitch said they were going to start age verifying people, but they haven't. So I was like, all my British viewers are going to never come back again, because they're going to have to I don't know, show their pubic bush to a fucking stranger on the internet to prove that they're an adult or something. But no,
the turfs have won.
Yay! Isn't it wonderful? You can't access anything. You can't what was the one that you had to age verify? r/cider.
Yeah, that's the one.
What the fuck? That's protecting children, is it? Stopping two dickheads who want to talk about the best way of creating mead or whatever. Like, oh God.
And for tackling violence against women and girls. Tory grandee Ken Clarke makes his 60th.
How are you still alive? How? Do you know, I was looking at this earlier. This is his 60th occasion he's been on. He first appeared on this show in 1982.
Fuck me. Why have they exhumed him for this?
43 years ago. How are you still alive? Let alone the representative of His Majesty's loyal opposition. Fuck me. What a time to be alive. Also, he's like the least Brexity of the Brexit Tory party. So why is he representing them?
He's basically a Lib Dem at this point. Let's be real.
Pretty much. Yeah. Which shows you how far it's moved, because he was firmly in the centre of the Tory party back in the 80s and 90s, right? He was the rising star and all the rest of it. But
Tory Reform Group.
Yeah. Whereas now he's, vastly to the left of where most of the Tory party are, which is pretty grim, because he hasn't really moved. I don't think they have.
Yeah, just a free trade, international cooperation enjoyer, just the basic centre of the Conservative Party, and he's now supposed to be like a lefty wetty.
Yeah.
On Question Time tonight. And
No. I'm not having this in chat. Just because he's anti-Brexit, the man's still a fucking ghoul. He was still Tory
he's like...
Chancellor. You know, he's an evil human being. He's just right about one thing.
Like, he was Health Secretary under Thatcher, and the Chancellor under fucking John Major. He's a monster. Yeah. And even then, like, he's not even right about the EU for the right reasons. He's right for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
He's right because he likes Labour to be undercut by the single market, not because he believes in the importance of international diplomacy.
And he can't do a fucking top button up, which is, you know,
Fair probably choke him to death if he did.
Or to buy a bigger shirt. It's not as if he's getting that tailored. Look at it. Fuck me.
Record. He served under Margaret Thatcher, John Major, and David Cameron.
Honestly, he genuinely is giving me frog vibes. He looks amphibian. Look at he's hunched over like he's gonna go ribbit, and his neck's gonna puff out like one of them fucking weird frog things.
Career that spanned 6 decades. Zarah Sultana left Labour this year to set up your party on the radical left of British politics.
Radical
She fell out
left.
with co-founder Jeremy Corbyn, but says they're now reconciled. Danny Kruger defected from the Tories to Reform 2 months ago.
Thankfully, Reform do have a kind of... thankfully, for once, they're going to be given a right to speak. Fuck me, they've got a season ticket on this show, haven't they?
They've not got a single representative from London.
No.
Like, because Alex Davies-Jones is Wales, Zarah Sultana's Coventry, Ken Clark is Nottingham, Danny Kruger. I mean, surely he's from... If he's still a Tory MB, he must be from the fucking Shires, right? Or still... He was elected as a Tory, so he must be from the Shires. He was actually born in Westminster.
No way. That made you like crazy posh.
Yeah, insanely posh. He went to Eton.
Naturally.
His mum's fucking Prue Leith.
Really? Whoa, okay.
Yeah. He's the MP for East Wiltshire.
Yeah. So you've got you couldn't get any Londoners, even though all of the MPs, because it's still Thursday, are in London. You couldn't get a single Londoner. No one. Look, if you're going to have a Reform person, have Corbyn. It represents London.
Describes his new party as...
Sorry, pause. Thank you, Wobbly Geek, for the Prime sub. Evening, you spoke to my daughter tonight on the train, and she said you were lovely.
No way! Oh my god!
Literally, the person who noticed me on the train is the daughter of one of my chatters. Incredible. And thank you, Vanessa, for the Prime.
Fucking beautiful.
Hype train.
That's fucking glorious.
Tiny world, isn't it?
It is a small, beautiful world.
It is.
A pirate ship with an ill-disciplined crew, but the wind in its sails.
Which is interesting, because when he was in the Tory party, he said they were unfit for office, the Reform Party, and then defected to them. So, you know, honest.
Good evening. Welcome to our panellists. Welcome to our audience here at St. Luke's. Lovely to see you. And, of course, welcome to you at home. Just sit back and watch the programme or join in the conversation on social media, whichever you prefer. Let's kick off, though, with our first question, which is from Charlie Williams Ellis.
At the last election, Labour promised that the adults would now be back in the room. After this week's cabinet...
No way. He hasn't even got onto the question part of his question, and he's already torched them. Absolutely ruined.
It's so good. Oh, do you think he's a chatter?
Oh, no, he's definitely watching. Come on, mate. Come on. If you're watching this back later on the VOD or whatever, yeah.
Or maybe we should skip back so we can watch the question again.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck's sake. I skipped all the way back to the start of the fucking show.
Because we both just laughed over the top of it.
Yeah, I know. Hang on. Fuck's sake. Right.
Of course, welcome to you at home. Just sit back and watch the programme or join in the conversation on social media, whichever you prefer. Let's kick off, though, with our first question, which is from Charlie Williams Ellis.
At the last election, Labour promised that the adults would now be back in the room. After this week's cabinet briefings and internal sniping, where are they?
So, on Tuesday night, sources...
Well, it's fine, because the Prime Minister has been promised it definitely didn't come from number 10, and I believe him. 100%. No, he's definitely not lying about everything all the time, ever.
Did you see the counter briefing that they put out after he said
Oh
that?
no! Oh my god! It's like, honestly, it's a panopticon of ineptitude and snakery. Of them just all sniping each other from all different directions, and then counter snipe, and then trying to undermine and undermine and undermine. It's like a fucking lattice work of evil.
So the counter briefing to this claim that nothing came out of number 10 is that someone briefed to the press, well, surely that means that Pippa Crerar, Alex Wickham, and the other journalists in the lobby had been briefed by anonymous people masquerading as number 10 sources.
Well, it could be after that story that the Times had of the former mayor Bill de Blasio, which was just a random person with an email who said they were Bill de Blasio. The British journalists, you never know, really, do you? It seems unlikely that three quite well-respected journalists would all fall for the same trick. So it seems to me like the persistent serial liar Keir Starmer, Casey, is lying again. And not only did it come from number 10, but he absolutely asked that happen because he ordered that to happen. He is literally at the core of this.
Incredible scenes. Absolutely incredible scenes. Absolute cinema.
Cinema.
This is from within number 10. We're briefing that Keir Starmer was facing a leadership challenge, and Wes Streeting, the health secretary, was named as one of the challenges. The next day, Keir Starmer condemned that briefing, and he apologised to Wes Streeting.
So he apologised for the thing that didn't happen. Because number 10 didn't do this, and he didn't order this to happen, and yet he apologised to Wes Streeting for the thing that he didn't do that didn't happen. Yeah, no, definitely believable. I definitely believe him. I'm glad that he's in a position of great authority and power in this country. That's very reassuring.
I mean, it is very nice as the left to know that we told literally everybody it would be like this.
Yeah. And they're all, no one thinks he's a morally corrupt serial liar. Except, of course, that's always what he always was. I mean, for a start, he's a lawyer, so instantly red flags. But he's not just that. I mean, everything about him suggested that he was going to be like this way. The one thing I was slightly taken aback by was that as a human rights lawyer, he's been so enthusiastic about the genocide. That's the one thing that has surprised me a little bit. I thought he might push back on it a tiny bit as a human rights lawyer, but no. There's literally, even his life's work as a human rights lawyer is available on the altar of his own ego and power.
I couldn't put it better myself.
And I think it's fair to say, if that briefing that was coming out, as we think, from number 10, was supposed to put out the idea that the PM was not going to be long in the job, it's just added fuel to the fire of speculation. Alex, what's going on?
Well, Charlie, you're right. It's been a regrettable distraction, to say the least, about what's going on at the moment. We heard from the Prime Minister earlier.
It's annoying that such a prick has such a beautiful accent.
It's true.
It's glorious. Honestly, I would have her read the phone book to me. Glorious.
Regarding this, we've heard from the Health Secretary regarding this. But ultimately, this isn't what the public want. The public want us to be getting on with the job of delivering, of doing what we need to be doing to regrowing the country, growing the economy, ensuring that our public services are well supported. And I understand why people care about this, because they care about the character of the man leading our country. That is only right, that is only natural. And I can only comment about the character of the man that I've been working with for the past 18 months as Prime Minister, and that is delivering, especially in my role as...
Well, interesting you should say that, when the character of the man that you've been working with, Prime Minister, is totally contemptible.
Yeah, in every conceivable way. And
like,
he's prepared to throw anyone under the bus for his own purposes as well.
I mean, there's one thing that loads of people have different opinions of this government. They like them for some reasons, and most of them dislike them for a whole host of reasons. But the one thing that basically everybody agrees on is that they hate Keir Starmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
maybe polling consistently has been A, going down in terms of favourability, and B, was already low to begin with. No one liked him from the very beginning, and now they fucking despise him. Even, I think I saw something like a third of Labour members wanted him to resign. Members. Not
Jesus.
just voters, members wanted him to resign. That's really bad, because they've purged the left, so they've lost the soft left as well now.
What's interesting as well to me is that there were quotes from anonymous MPs in the press today and yesterday of people saying, I never liked West Streeting, but literally anything has to be better than Keir Starmer. Like people who are way outside of West Streeting's wheelhouse. He's just a really committed Blairite. Like even people on the centre left, the open Labour style people are saying, yeah, well, I hate Keir Starmer, so West Streeting, like he's won me over.
Yeah, just by not being Keir Starmer, he's instantly favourable by comparison.
Literally.
Which is mental.
Victims Minister, whether that's for the Hillsborough families, whether that's for families of children who have...
Firstly, you kicked that into the long grass and voted on it many months later when you needed a distraction, so don't even fucking start with that. And secondly, we have not seen what the Lords are going to do to it and whether you will accept those amendments. So don't even say you've delivered for the Hillsborough families, because that's a lie.
Yeah.
Have been killed by their fathers in family courts. That is the character of the man that I know, and that is the character of the man that is leading our country.
So, Alex, when you were watching this unfold, with the briefings, and then where Streeting comes out, and then Keir Starmer says, oh, nothing to do with me, Garb, don't know anything about it, did you just have your head in your hands?
It made me angry, Fiona. I think it made everybody angry because it's drama that we don't need. Look, this happens in every workplace.
Who are you blaming for it?
Well, I'm blaming whoever is responsible for leaking this or for briefing.
And it's definitely not Morgan McSweeney. We don't need to have a link inquiry into number 10, but it definitely wasn't from number 10, and it definitely wasn't Morgan McSweeney. So that's fine.
I genuinely don't know what he's doing. Like, at least for some of the amount of the things that Morgan McSweeney does, they're stupid and based upon faulty premises. But at least I understand what that premise is.
Yeah.
And this, I'm completely gone.
It's possible
no understanding.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time, and they've gone like full bunker mentality. I think it happened under Boris Johnson. It happened definitely.
Save Big Dog.
Yeah, exactly. It happened definitely under Tony Blair when he was trying to fend off Gordon Brown on a couple of occasions. They get so wrapped up in the Westminster world that they forget that like normal people would see it very, very differently. For them, it's all a big power play. My dick's bigger than your dick, and the rest of the country's like, could you just maybe make life less shit, please? Actually, you know.
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, the bunk mentality is a really great descriptor of it, and that's how we've ended up in this position, because they've essentially erected a fortress at the top of the Labour Party, deliberately so, and it will be their undoing.
Yeah. What's that, Tom? Corbyn decided to issue a statement on X alongside other MPs in the Independent Alliance, smearing Zarah Sultana ahead of question time. Have you got a link for that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, what was it about? About the money thing?
Yes, the money is... she's given 200k out of the 100k. I don't know why that's happened. I'm sure she'll say at some point or release a statement. And they basically said, we're trying to deliver a conference on a shoestring budget, and we need that money, and it's terrible that it's not been passed forward or whatever. That's the long and short of it.
Brilliant. So even though they've got 50,000 members, they're still managing to fuck everything up.
I mean, just like, can we just have some adults in the room, please?
Yeah.
Briefing against us. We've got a really important job to do. We've got a really serious job to do, a big job to do in terms of rebuilding our country. You know, Wes just today was out there as the Health Secretary talking about how we get the NHS back on its feet, you know, cutting those waiting times, which is what everybody wants. And this is not helpful, to say the least.
Danny.
Well, I think Keir Starmer probably is a decent and a good man. The problem is, and the reason why that...
Jesus Christ. I mean... Can I think of a more insulting way of describing Keir Starmer than Danny Kruger likes him? Honestly, if Danny Kruger ever came out and said Kevin Logan is a decent, honourable man, I think I would play Roblox. You can cut this bit from the YouTube. You don't have to put that in there.
That government is falling apart is that he doesn't actually believe in anything. And he came into government saying that he was going to deliver change, but without any sort of plan. So naturally what happens is, in a situation like this, is everybody starts fighting. That's the essential problem for this government. The public are...
Well, I mean, he's hit on a point there. Essentially, this was inevitable, really, given that the only point of this political movement was to purge a different political movement, was to just stab the previous leader in the back and oust anyone who supported them. So once that was done, there was no plan for anything else. This is all they know. This is just a robot still performing its function after its usefulness has departed the scene. It's just going to carry on doing exactly the same thing because that's all it can do. That's all it's programmed to do.
Yeah, these people only understand the concept of the firing squad.
Yeah.
And before, when it was the left in front of the firing squad, it was easy to know what to do. You just lined them up against the wall. But now there's no one left to put in front of the firing squads. They've just turned it all amongst themselves. And you know what? All the Labour MPs briefing to the press today about how upset they are with all of this. I think you'll find, chat. I think you'll find. They got what they wanted, didn't they?
Yeah.
They got exactly what they wanted.
Indeed, sir. What's this? President Trump ordered action in the Department of War. Today I'm announcing Operation Southern Spear, led by Task Force, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so they're actually...
Sounds like a cock.
It does sound like a cock, but I think it's they're gonna fuck the Venezuelan people with it.
Well, literally, it's going to be, please be distracted from the pedo accusations.
By a war! And then he'll be really annoyed when he doesn't win the Peace Prize again.
One thing is, did you see that loads of Tory ministers or Tory shadow ministers were posting about how it's terrible that Keir Starmer's undermining our relationship with our ally by not selling some weapons and intelligence to the Americans because they keep fucking extrajudicially executing Venezuelan fishermen?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, well, turns out Priti Patel and Swallow Bradman think that extrajudicial executions are okay. Just gonna...
Well, of course they do.
That.
Of course they do.
They're
both genuinely
for
evil bastards, yeah.
Incredibly disappointed with the government that they elected to deliver change that clearly isn't happening. On every single indication, things are getting worse. So there's a vacuum of leadership, Alex, and everybody, yes, I appreciate you and others trying to do their best, but when you have a philosophical vacuum at the heart of government and no clear plan and a politician at the top who doesn't believe in anything, this is what happens.
No, sorry, Danny, I reject that wholeheartedly. You know, I don't live in a bubble. I speak to people every single day about life in the real world, and
I'm not in a bubble. I just did an advert for gambling in a fucking food bank. Very normal. Yeah, no, that's a totally normal thing that a normal person would do. Yeah. Don't come here pretending like you're one of us humans. You're a fucking lizard.
And I have been doing a lot of thinking in the last couple of weeks about what does it mean to be a Labour minister in a Labour government.
A bit late to think about that.
No, it's
yeah, you're 18 months into government. What do you mean you're now thinking about that? You had 14 years to think about this. What the fuck? Yeah, 18 months into government, I think it's about time we came up with some idea of what the fuck to do. Gee, they put only the best and brightest forward tonight.
I mean, this is the reality of everything the left have been saying from day one.
Yeah.
You know, this is why they have like so many quangos and focus groups and royal commissions, etc., etc. Because they don't have any fucking clue what they're supposed to do. Because all the moments that they were supposed to be making policy in time and opposition, they're busy trying to get Corbyn out of the party and make sure that Diane Abbott wasn't going to be an MP, and she's still a fucking MP, and they still have no policy.
Brilliant. Epic
stuff. They don't even have concepts for plan. They have subcontract this out to a consultancy or to Baroness Casey to try and create a strategy and then just do what the technocrats tell them.
They've got a commission for coming up with a roadmap for the 5 pillars and foundations to fix the national renewal. And I'm here for it.
Enabling me as a girl from the valleys whose dad was a miner to represent the community and do the things in government that we...
I don't care. Your dad was a fucking miner.
At least he wasn't a toolmaker. Jesus Christ, I'd have snapped.
I mean, he was a toolmaker in a sense.
Well, yes, very much so, yes. But so was Prue Leith, we found that out. So.
We need to deliver for people, right? Being in politics is about tough choices. We are making those choices, and it's a Labour government making those choices. And those choices mean that we've got 5 million extra appointments in our NHS.
Also, would it be crass of me to say that when she told Peter Mandelson that her father was a minor, he got a bit more excited than he should have? I'll leave it there. I'll leave that there. Well, no, he's just really into minors.
He's really into the coal extraction.
Yes.
Ensuring that our veterans and our care leavers have a roof over their head. We're investing in children's education, in our public services. Those are the choices that we can only make, and those are our values, because it's a Labour government making those choices, and I'm proud to be in a Labour government doing those things on behalf of the public.
Man here in the front.
One of the other people that's not been mentioned is Morgan McSweeney and his whole role in this. And the Prime Minister said that he has full confidence in him, he's not going anywhere. We have heard that twice already with Angela Rayner, who he had full confidence in and is now gone.
I appreciated that Mandelson joke. Thank
and
you.
is now gone. So why is it different the third time? Why should we believe him when twice before we've been told he had confidence in a high-ranking minister?
No, because there definitely is a wolf this time. You have to believe him.
I mean, I think the difference here, there is a huge difference, really, insofar as Mandelson, Rayner, all the other people who've had to resign in disgrace, whatever it is, who've been removed from positions for corruption or for scandal, they were all dispensable. Yeah. Even Mandelson was technically dispensable. But Morgan McSweeney and Keir Starmer are a two-piece in a pod. You cannot have one without the other. Dan Hodges from the Mail described them as like getting rid of Laurel without getting rid of Hardy. And I'm like, well, it's a pretty poor comparison. It's more like getting rid of Keith Harris without getting rid of Orville.
Yeah, that's a much better analogy. Yeah, sure. For Americans watching, that was a ventriloquist act of a man with his hand in a fake bird.
And that's all Keir Starmer is, just an empty puppet with Morgan McSweeney's hand up his arse.
To be fair,
if McSweeney goes, Starmer goes.
Well, exactly. Yeah, they're tied. Their political fortunes are absolutely tied together. But what I will say is, you did slightly violate Orville there, because Orville had far more personality than Keith. I think if you did separate those two partnerships out, I think Orville would fare better than Keir Starmer as a solo act.
A few days later, he didn't.
So Morgan McSweeney, Keir Starmer's chief of staff, I should say. Do you want to very briefly answer that?
Well, I would say, and I would echo.
Do you have confidence in him?
I do have confidence in him. I think we wouldn't have a Labour government if it wasn't for Morgan McSweeney. But, you know, this
nonsense.
You wouldn't have
no,
exactly. You wouldn't have a Labour government if it weren't for the Tory party committing seppuku in front of the entire country. That's why you have a Labour government.
I mean, Morgan McSweeney didn't think you'd have a Labour government.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer was only there as a stooge to purge the left for the nouveau Blairite to swoop in afterwards into elections time. They never thought they would be in government until, you know, Liz Truss screwed the pooch and Reform UK stole half the votes, right? Like, that is the reality of the position that we're in.
Yeah.
Is that they have accidentally got into government. The reason why they have no policy is because they thought, we've got 5 years to purge the left and then another 5 years to talk about any policy prescriptions. And they're just the accidental government.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Has worked with the party. He enabled Zarah and I to be elected and to be able to do the things I've talked about in terms of delivering for the British public. These are really important missions that we have to deliver on.
Let's get around a few more people. Yes.
Just from the outside, it just looks like number 10 is in an episode of The Traitors.
Yes, and in fact, Wes Streeting called himself a faithful lad.
Oh, God, I had bingo for awkward cultural reference. It's much more like the thick of it. This is like, you know, in the bits behind the scenes with the thick of it where you're like, that probably doesn't happen. Actually, I think they slightly underplayed it. I think the Malcolm character was a little bit underplayed. To be honest. I think Capaldi could have hammed it up a bit, and it still would have worked.
Maybe put on an Irish accent instead of a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unbelievable stuff. Like, literally, when you have the health secretary come out saying there's a toxic environment in number 10, what the fuck is going on there? Like, how bad is it got to be that he's just like, yeah, no, this is shit, actually. Fucking mad.
I think. Yes, man here.
You mentioned head in hands. I think the whole country has its head in their hand every time they put the television on or watch the news. It's all doom, gloom. When's something positive going to happen? That's what the country...
Well, Keir Starmer will die one day. So, it might be quite a way off yet. I'm just saying, like, good times are ahead.
Also, also on top of that, Keir Starmer might just not be Prime Minister in a fucking couple of weeks at this point.
True, but then we've got fucking Wesley. Oh, God, is that any better, actually?
Speaking of that, my favourite briefing from this whole thing was somebody briefing to, I think it was The Guardian, saying, well, this was a really good plan by Morgan McSweeney because it's allowed Wes Streeting to be put to task in a place that he really fails to deliver on, which is breakfast morning TV. And I'm like, well, perfect. Because given Wes Streeting, he does kind of okay on these shows, and Keir Starmer is quite literally a fucking empty vessel, a husk of a human. It's just like, whoever decided to do this is just insane. Genuinely insane.
Mental, absolutely mental. And then the big distraction was, let's send Keith to open a new nuclear reactor thing in Wales, and he made opening a nuclear plant seem phenomenally boring. Like a thing that might end up with you becoming Spider-Man, in theory. And he was like, no,
this is a great opportunity for the people of Anglesey.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Honestly, just jump in the reactor, Keith. It's the only answer.
She needs, instead of the doom and gloom that's going on.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, Ken,
I agree with that.
You've seen your fair share of troubles, I think, politically, it's fair to say. I mean, I'm just thinking, you were there at the end of Margaret Thatcher's time in government.
He was there at the fucking beginning. What are you talking about? He's old as fucking time. Look at him.
He's been ever present, just watching over British politics for the entirety of the era of neoliberalism.
Yeah. So you were there at the end of Disraeli's term in office.
Does this feel like it has the same kind of end of days
Oh,
feel?
yes, there have always been crises. This is quite different. Well, this is symptomatic of a deep crisis in our traditional party political system, I think. We've started with personalities, and that dominates the media and the discussion nowadays. We haven't got on to any of we haven't started with immigration or the economy or anything of that kind. It's personalities. And this is because people are so angry and disillusioned with the politicians, the people. There's never been a time where the Conservative Party and the Labour Party have both performed so badly in government that they're both deeply unpopular and disliked. And we have fringe parties springing up alike. And both the
In fact, you're sitting next to
Conservatives and the
someone who's
Labour
in one of
Party
those.
have got to concentrate on getting back to being serious parties of the centre ground that convince people of their honesty and their...
There you go. There you go. That's him in a nutshell. It's exactly... I could have written that for him, frankly. Of course he was going to say that. He's a dying man with a dying philosophy.
It is very funny for him to go, well, everyone's concerned with personality, and then go, well, we need to have more centrist vibes.
Yeah.
No, what we need is solutions.
Also, you were a minister under the Iron Lady. Do forgive me if your newfound fucking hatred for the presidential style of politics is it doesn't really sit right with me, to be honest.
And also, like, of all of the people to accuse of putting personality before policy, right? Like, I know Keir Starmer doesn't have much in terms of policy. He has even less in terms of personality.
Exactly, yeah. In order to do personality politics, you would need to have politics and a personality, and he has neither.
their competence, and it'll take some time. Then we can get back to a sensible political...
Sensible?
debate.
Can we not just go back to grilling, for the love of God? 2012, Olympics. Forget about the austerity and the homelessness crisis. No! It was fantastic. Wave your flags.
We've literally had 46 years of your ideology, Ken. 46 years, and it's been shit. It's ruined everything. And you're going, well, the problem is that people don't like my ideology anymore. We need to get back to doing what I want to do. Fuck off. It's shit. We hate it. It's failed.
Yeah.
We need literally anything else.
Well, his failure to understand what created the uni party that is universally unpopular, that being the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, is that they've both adopted the politics that he is now saying they need to re-adopt. Because they've done exactly what he wanted them to do, basically. Because, I mean, literally Thatcher said that Tony Blair was her greatest success. Because she destroyed a left-wing Labour Party, basically. She made it so that even when Labour get in, they still do Thatcherism, right? She ensconced Thatcherism in stone for the 3 generations now. It was precisely his politics for the last 50 years that has caused that unpopularity. And
well,
yet,
I'm assuming he thinks that the only thing that's gone wrong is Brexit.
Probably.
I'm sure he thinks that the only thing that's materially bad about the current status quo is that Brexit gave us worse trading relationships. And as I've said before in the stream, no less, Brexit was a bad idea. The idea that it's a unique source of the problems is so gigantically myopic that it's why the Lib Dems, no one takes them seriously. Because they don't believe in anything other than rejoin EU and everything will be magical again. And I'm like, no, Brexit was a symptom, not a cause.
True.
Well, unfortunately, both of them are now deeply unpopular, and that's why people are casting protest votes for reform and other parties, most of which don't have enough serious people and enough serious ideas to govern a country. And the sooner the Labour Party and the Conservative Party stop deciding to divert themselves by plotting against their leader and changing their leader every 5 minutes, and having far too many prime ministers, and then as soon as you take over in opposition, having the leaders of the opposition being subjected to bids by people, employing an army of people inside their offices who spend their time leaking and briefing for or against rivals, it only makes things worse. And I do hope, certainly, Kemi below the surface in my party is getting on with the serious business of work on policy, work on strategy.
Okay. True.
I mean, some years it'll take us to look again.
He's not wrong. She's been working real hard on policy and strategy, and it is bang on about the Chagos Islands again.
Yeah, do the Chagos Islands and then maybe go after Doctor Who again. If that fails, got that one on the back burner though, you know.
Again, like a governing party capable of managing the problems. None of this will count the next election. We're all living day to day by opinion polls and headlines, which are all pointless. An election 4 years ahead, we haven't a clue what it will be about. Events, nationally and internationally, will give us a wholly new agenda. And the two big...
Right, but Jesus Christ. You've been in politics long enough to know how this plays out. It's not just that world events happen, it's how they react. And neither of the leaders of the main political parties are remotely capable of dealing with those events in anything like a sensible way. Like, if you remember Gordon Brown, when there was a terrorist attack just after he became Prime Minister, he got a bounce in the polls because he was authoritative enough and statesmanlike enough to be able to deal with that. And actually came out of it very well. And actually got a slight bounce in the polls, and then in the summer elections actually did relatively well in the locals. Whereas you don't think for a second that Keir Starmer or Kemi Badenoch would be able to handle that situation at all. No, look what happens when it does happen. Keir goes to fucking pieces. He didn't even want to come back off fucking holiday for the riots. Like, he's a joke.
He is a joke. I mean, it's just like the same with Dominic Raab just staying on his sun lounge during the Afghan pullout. I mean, you don't even have to go far back as Gordon Brown, right? Like, we criticised Theresa May's response to the terrorist attack during the election campaign in 2017. And that's leagues ahead in terms of her response than what we've seen from every leader since. And of course, Jeremy Corbyn in opposition, who's uniquely derided by the same sensible centrists as Ken Clarke as being wholly unfit for office and a joke, unserious politician. And his response was inch perfect. It was inch perfect. You know, as somebody who is regularly derided as being a terrorist sympathizer, quote unquote, he got bounced in the polls because of his good response, and because he called out the fact that it was blowback from interventionism that people were sick of post-Iraq war. You know, he genuinely tapped into people hating how these things have come about, outside of all political groupthink and know-how up until that point, all of the received wisdom. And you compare the statesmanship of May and Corbyn to everyone we've had since, and we're in an absolute sewer. Absolute sewer.
Also, again, when it comes to Truss, she killed one of the greatest statespeople of any generation, the Queen.
True.
So, and I think that's how it works. Don't you gain the points? It's like in Sonic, the coins come out and she gets to collect all the coins, right? I think that's how it works.
Parties and the Liberals, the serious parties, have got to concentrate on restoring their reputation as serious governing parties. So,
Oh, fuck, don't applaud! So pause. We need to call out the reality of him saying sensible just means agrees with me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all that means. That all means. Oh, sure, reform are unserious. I agree with this. But to deride everybody else who's outside of what he believes to be the acceptable overview window as unserious is ridiculous. Because again, like the problems that the country and the world faces are apocalyptic in nature in some cases. Like look at the climate crisis, for example. But broadly, we are seeing real strain on human society across the world and especially in the UK. The solutions will be radical. The solutions will require more than just tinkering around the edges at an already fixed system because the system is broken and that is the cause and indeed some of the result of all of the civilizational stress that we're feeling. To try and claim that all we need is just to have sensible people rather than actual solutions is myopic to the point of nausea.
But have you considered that he said the word serious and sensible 50 times? So that deserves a round of applause because that's analysis. True. Yeah. Also, stop it. To the people in chat who are pointing out that Mario has coins and that Sonic has rings, you're a nerd. You're a geek, okay? Shut up. I mean, you are correct, but that's not the point.
You've got your hands up. I'm going to come to you in a minute, but Zara, you're sitting listening very politely to that. Okay, obviously not being particularly polite about yours.
Sorry, I was being a little...
I might just point out that when it comes to you and Jeremy Corbyn and your party, or whatever you do end up calling it, I mean, you fell out before the thing had even got going.
So just on the question around West Street...
Absolute violation before she said a word. She hasn't even said a word and she gets rinsed. Oh, no.
Is it wrong?
It's not incorrect in the slightest. If you're going to talk about political dysfunction... I mean, it takes game to know game, I guess. Fuck.
I mean, as I said on Navarra the other day...
Are you on Navarra? What?
Yeah, I'm on Navarra. I am. Wow, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, I said, I literally...
Can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph, please?
I said, you can take the MP out of the Labour infighting, but you cannot take the Labour infighting out of the MP.
True!
It's like the Cray twins. Both choices are criminally dangerous to the rest of the country, but I'm not sure if West Streeting gets his suits paid for by Lord Wahid.
And one of them's gay. That's true in both cases as well.
In all seriousness, Alex was listing achievements she thinks this Labour government has done. Since getting into power, it has retained the two-child benefit cap, keeping hundreds of thousands of kids in avoidable poverty that could be ended overnight. It has scrapped winter fuel payments for elderly pensioners. It has attacked disabled people and cut their benefits. And it has also enabled genocide in Gaza. So whoever is at the top of the Labour Party, they are all responsible for everything that I've just listed. And I was really proud to vote against all of those things because those are things that we should all be opposed to: austerity, enabling genocide, and that's what this Labour Party has become.
Well, look, since we've got you on here, it's the first time you've...
Absolutely based and true. Did you...
Again, like...
Go on, Zara.
I mean, it's... Again, she is somebody who has actual Labour values, hence why she opposed all of these things. Like, it's really simple for people to go, I can't believe she's left the party and riding on their coattails. I'm like, well, she actually has Labour values. Yeah. And the reality is that the people at the top of the party don't. And that's why they forced her out.
Yeah, she got Labour values, which is why she was kicked out. Yeah.
Yep.
Come on the programme, we're very glad that you have. Let's just talk about your party for a minute. I mean, even before it got going, there was threats of legal action between you and Jeremy Corbyn. There's this issue of thousands of pounds, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Fair to say there have been teething issues.
Well, that's one way of describing them, Zara.
Yes.
Possibly virgin...
Oh, come on. Teething problems. Yeah, that is...
Oh, bless.
That is a very, very diplomatic way of putting that, yeah.
On the understatement.
Well, if you look across Europe and you look at the emergence of new left parties, it's not an easy, slick process. It is a democratic member-led party, and of course, when you've got people who are very...
Except that loads of the Central Committee won't be elected by the party. They're just going to be ensconced in place. Like, it's ridiculous.
On top of that, there's also a left-wing party which is democratically run that isn't having any of these problems.
The Labour Party. No, the Green Party.
Passionate. Sometimes, you know, there are regrettable things that happen, but what we have to focus on is that over 800,000 people initially expressed interest in your party. That tells me that the status quo and what the establishment politicians and the established parties are offering isn't working. People recognize that their lives are harder, their wages are stagnating, their bills are increasing, and at the same time, the super rich in this country are laughing all the way to the bank.
She is good. I like her, but as pointed out, literally communist says Titanic's maiden voyage had fewer teething problems. Oh, brutal. The iceberg of the fucking membership portal has sunk the party.
I mean, to be fair, to Zarah Sultana, the Carpathia of the Green Party is steaming towards her location.
True.
If only she can find a lifeboat.
Exactly. Also, just throw Leonardo DiCaprio off. He's a dickhead.
Very sexy.
Top 50 rich families in this...
It was a very sexy film. Ridiculous.
It was.
This country hold more wealth than 70% of the population. Since 2010 to 24, the billionaires tripled...
I think Kate Winslet might be the first pair of tits I ever saw naked.
Impressive. I think mine was Britt Eklund.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a point. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Certainly the first ones I remember.
I mean, it was one of the two. It's one of the two, but I very
No, it was definitely two.
Kind of
yeah.
I very vividly remember Britt Eklund.
Yeah.
Their wealth. Everyone can see it. Their bills are increasing and energy companies are recording record profits. So it's an economic system that is fundamentally broken. But from the Labour Party, from the Conservatives, from Reform, you'll get the same neoliberal politics, the same economic system. And trickle-down economics has fundamentally failed. We've got record levels of inequality, record levels of child poverty, and record levels of billionaire wealth at the same time.
All right, lots of hands. Ken, can I just hear from the audience and I'll come back to you? Yes, woman there.
This is a mess, actually, and people have lost faith in all parties, actually, if you think about it. No one trusts anyone, and we're actually a joke at the moment globally as well.
Right.
To be fair, that's been a while, though. We haven't been taken seriously for quite some time.
I mean, we elected a man who was described by a previous lover as like having sex with a bin bag full of custard.
Oh, is that a positive review? She might be into it. I don't know.
True. A guy who got stuck on a zip wire waving fucking flags around. A guy who was admittedly fucking conspired to have a journalist beaten up. You can't. There's nowhere lower to go after Boris Johnson. And then apparently we found it twice with Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak.
Well, that's the thing. Once you've scraped through the bottom of the barrel, you just can keep digging. There's a whole earth to go through. It's lovely.
Right, okay. Woman there in the glasses in the second row, yes.
Hi, my question's for Alex. You said you support victims, especially women and children. So what's your thoughts on the male migrants coming illegally to this country, being housed in local hotels, and the increase of...
Oh, for a second, I thought you was going to ask the serious question, is what do you think about the fact that you had a domestic abuser elected as a Reform MP? But no, just back to the migrants. Yeah, cool.
Attacks on women from them?
I'm generally worried about the attacks on women from everyone. You know, the levels of violence against women and girls in this country is intolerable. It's why we've declared it a national emergency, why we have to do more in order to tackle it, and that involves working with everyone in order to do this. I think the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has been really instrumental in terms of trying...
We don't... Exactly, chat. We don't ever talk about migration. Ever. Even in a question that's got fuck all to do with it, we're still talking about migration.
Yep.
trying to get to grips with this problem in terms of removing individuals from our country. We've announced that we will be removing any individual who breaks the law in our country on sentencing rather than waiting for them to fill up places in our prisons, because being in this country...
Oh yeah, did you see a second one that had returned to France had come back?
Literally, it's the sushi restaurant. You were so right.
Yeah, it's just going to be a revolving door of just the same like 6 migrants being sent back and coming back around on a circuit. Love it. And you know what? I'm here for it. The slapstick of it all is brilliant.
Is a privilege. It is not a right. And if you come here illegally, if you come here, then you should be deported. You don't have a right to be here. And if you do, you should follow our rules.
What? I love it. Why do Welsh people pronounce it here?
Sure.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
It's
great,
glorious. I'm not knocking it. It's absolutely wonderful, but it's mesmerising. Because now I don't know what the rest of her sentence was. I'm just hearing, here.
I mean, what she said was basically a lie. The refuge isn't a right, it's a privilege. No, actually, it is a right. You have the right to declare asylum. People who arrive via regular means are not illegal if they claim asylum. That's a legal process you can follow to claim that. And when she says, well, if you have no right to be here, you should leave. And I'm like, well, okay, that applies to like visa overstayers. So that's not what the question was talking about.
Exactly. Sure.
And you should obey by our laws. But I'm worried about the levels of violence against women and girls everywhere. You know, 3 women a week on average are killed.
Because we don't know the background of these people, so
we don't know the background of anyone.
But
working
when there's
like
loads of
in
male
our
people
society.
like attending
And
living in a hotel locally to us, then it's a threat to our women and children when they're walking around in groups and we don't know their background.
Why is it not a threat to the men? You know, most violent crime happens to men by men, right?
Well, I hope that she also considers that it's a good idea that we should ban all football matches.
Yes.
Or at least ban all congregations of football fans, because those are all groups of men that we don't have any information on. Is she scared of them? I wonder why she wouldn't be. It's weird.
Yeah.
We know that women and girls are more likely to be attacked or injured by someone they know, actually. And domestic abuse is probably the highest issue we have at the moment in terms of violence against women and girls. I'm not disputing that there's a problem
Yeah,
here.
but she doesn't care about violence against women and girls. She just wants to attack brown people.
Yeah, exactly. She wants to assume that the good white rapists are all okay. It's only the bad brown rapists we need to get rid of. And I joke, but that is literally the point that somebody from GB News made, which was that only 75% of rapes have to happen because 25% of them are done by foreign nationals.
Exactly, but those are good British rapes.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a problem here,
and you're in that
but it's about
situation.
looking at this in the whole. We
It's
can't
not a
do
safe
this
area.
individually.
Okay, there's 2 of you want to come in on the panel, so just briefly, Danny.
Just quickly, I mean, I think if Alex is sincere about wanting to protect women...
Jesus Christ! So this is the story is there's been briefing by Number 10 against the Health Secretary who might be doing a coup against the Prime Minister, and we're now going on about foreign migrant rapists again.
Every fucking week.
But we
never
talk about immigration. You can't talk about immigration. They'll arrest you. They'll put you in jail if you start talking about the migrants.
I'm sure she is. Then she's got to recognise she's got another problem, which is that this government believes in the international human rights framework, which means that you can't deport illegal immigrants on arrival. Well, you're not doing it, and it's because of legal challenges under the Human Rights Act, which your party brought in. What we absolutely do need to do is do what you said.
And that your party did not repeal in 14 years.
Well, how could your party repeal it? They've only just started.
Heyo! The Conservative
And that's going to happen every time. It's going to happen every time. It's a really stupid name.
Choose a better name. Just choose a name. For fuck's sake, you've been going for ages now. Choose a name. Call yourself the Left Party or the Jeremy Corbyn's Ring Peace Party. I don't fucking care.
Whoa. Shia-e-Jezza.
True. Jezbollah. Let's go.
Support people. You won't do it, and I'm afraid it's disingenuous to suggest that these young men who are coming over here do not represent a disproportionate threat to women and children. That is statistically the fact. So to protect them, and also, by the way, to do the right thing by the many millions of people around the world who are displaced and who need help, prioritising the rich, fit young men who can afford to pay thousands of pounds to break into our country illegally, that is not compassionate.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about migrants. They're all very rich. Have you noticed these people? They're so rich. What are you talking about, you cunt?
Oh, so on top of this, like, saying, oh, well, we need to look after the ones who genuinely need our help. But then why are there no safe and legal routes for the ones who genuinely need it? Given that, on appeal, 60% odd of the people who arrive via regular means via small boat have their asylum claims accepted, meaning they are the ones with the legitimate claims who you are literally mentioning at the start of your sentence. Then why do you have a problem with them making it themselves have a route when you have not opened a route, where no one has opened a route? You never opened a route when you were a Tory minister in government. So you admit that there are some asylum claims that are valid, and yet you want to give them no way of getting here to be able to have that asylum claim heard.
Literally, yeah.
Either to them or to our people. So yes, we need to deport people who come in here illegally. The only way to do that is to get out of the European Convention on Human Rights, which you guys won't do.
No, I know you want to go, but let me just bring Zarah.
I do find some of the rhetoric around safety, around women and girls, really concerning when, in my home region of the West Midlands, 2 Sikh girls were raped in racially motivated attacks by far-right individuals. And we find very few kind of media coverage of stories like that. And we have to highlight that some of that anti-migrant rhetoric and rhetoric that demonizes asylum seekers is sickening. It has led to racial violence in our towns and cities where women and children, based on the colour of their skin and whether they wear a headscarf.
I shouldn't have said true. Correct. True sounded like I was celebrating that fact. No, I was pointing out that it's correct.
Off or not, have been targeted, and this rhetoric has been drip-fed. It's on our front pages, it comes from highest offices in the country, and what we have to recognise is that the issues in our country, whether it's underfunding of the NHS, the fact that we don't have council houses, low wages and insecure work, those are political decisions made by politicians. They are not the fault of some of the most vulnerable people fleeing war and persecution and put up in, not the Ritz Hotel as some people might want to portray, really shoddy accommodation, rats in the corridors, poor food, but they are demonised.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's just Birmingham. That's what you having a dig for? No need.
And people are being told they're the people taking your jobs, they're the people taking your housing. Please look up, look at the super rich, look at the landlords hiking your rent, look at the energy CEOs making millions of pounds, look at the politicians who are happy to get millionaire donors and freebies but are taking away opportunities from the rest of the country.
Okay. I'm going to move on.
She cooked. She cooked so hard. She cooked so hard.
Honestly, flambéed him. Love it.
I just want to hear a couple more points. This man there in the green shirt.
Hi, hello. I've got actually a question for Zarah again. You're very critical of the government and the Prime Minister. Is there anything positive you can say about them?
No.
No.
I mean, they have the thing is, they have a workers' rights bill, which I think is a good bill. That's a good bill. And it was entirely fabricated by Andy MacDonald, who got the whip removed for him for no fucking reason at all, and Angela Rayner, who was the only person who'd ever done a real fucking job in any of the cabinet, and who was gotten rid of for something that is nowhere near as bad as the shit that other people have stuck around for.
Yeah. Also, like, it's such a silly point. Like, the party that kicked you out and that you have obviously fundamental differences with, you've been very critical of them. Could you not? Like, what the fuck, mate? Why is it that people feel it necessary that everyone has to get along? It's politics. It's adversarial. You're voting for one thing or another thing or a different thing, or standing yourself because there isn't one available. Like, it's you're going against each other. That's fine. That's actually sort of how you get to, hopefully, the best set of ideas, in theory. It's ridiculous, yeah. Kev, have you had house rats since the bin strike? No, thankfully I'm okay in that regard. The spirit of Rory Cats eats them. Fact.
I think there's an opportunity to be positive at the upcoming budget if they finally decide that child poverty is something that they care about. This is a Labour government, yet this Labour government is happy to satisfy spreadsheets and keep 800,000 children in poverty. So if the two-child benefit cap is scrapped, that would be great. I would champion that. If they reverse all austerity, if they fully fund our public services and nationalise our utilities...
That would be good. But yeah...
Not happening, though.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to happen, no. But the fact that they're now maybe going back on the waspy women thing, like, at this point, why bother? Like,
boomerocracy forever.
Well, I mean, there's the boomer thing, but also, like, Do you think they're going to give you credit for that now, having shit on them and said, basically, nah, fuck you don't deserve the money, you bunch of cunts? Like, no, they're still never voting for you again. You've already lost those people. They're gone. Like, I mean, okay, fair enough.
To be fair, to the kind of unreasonable people who think that they need to get money back for the thing that they didn't get the fucking foresight to check themselves. I mean, if you want to lose those people's votes, you know what? Go ahead. I really don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, it's not that big a deal either way, but it's just, like, if you've made the argument for austerity, if you now go back on it, you look a wanker and you're not going to get any votes.
Well, because again, it shows that they aren't doing anything because they believe in it. They're doing things because they feel like that's the correct triangulation.
Yeah.
And no one fucking cares about that. People want actual, sincere politicians with visions and beliefs. And Keir Starmer has none of these things and is a cunt.
Yes.
I think that would be a great start, and I will be very positive if that government did that. But so far, austerity and enabling genocide. And I have red lines. In politics, I think we should have red lines. Austerity and genocide are my red lines.
Okay, let's hear one more quick, because you've had your hand up for ages. The woman in the middle of the audience there with the glasses.
I think that it's frustrating, and if I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit embarrassing that across the political spectrum, politics currently doesn't feel like there's any focus on forward momentum. And instead, a lot of it is falling into a race to the bottom of who can make the next pop culture reference because it's going to seem cool. I'm 25 at the minute, and it's really hard to see people who are older than me who I should respect and I should look up to, and I should see a lot of hope in my future and the future of young people and the young people I work with, but I don't see that, and that inspires also.
Okay, but, like, have you considered not being a briefcase? That's a possibility. You can do that. You are allowed.
So a lot of fear, and I think it's really worrying to sit here and look across the political spectrum that there's no focus on actually getting in with young people or getting in with talking to people. It's just, I'm going to make a pop culture reference. I want to know how the kids are doing, and that doesn't feel like it works.
Sure.
Okay, but, like, where was your point there about actual policy focused at young people? Your problem seems to be the communication style rather than the fact that they're doing literally nothing to help people.
Oh, Jim Speaks said she looks like Moaning Myrtle, and she really does.
I'm old. I don't get that reference.
No, it's fine. It's a wizard lady thing.
Okay.
So it's not. It's like, I hate that I know that Jim Speak is correct, but he is correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Peter Wood, Mr. Peter Wood. But that's not an acceptable excuse. You were late because of EastEnders. Cancelled. You're cancelled, mate. Banned. Get out. And thank you, Swirly Curly, for 37 months. Good God. Don't forget,
Get help.
Well, I mean, really, for the love of God. But you can give us both money in the form of bits and subs and subscriptions and memberships and carrier pigeons with money on them or something.
Please give gift subs and drop bits. I like that when that happens.
True. And she's famous, chat. You have to. Don't know why I'm absolutely ragging on you now. That's just totally unnecessary. It was a lovely story.
I think you're totally right, and I'm so sorry you feel that way. Social media posts and going viral is about generating engagement. It's not about power.
All right.
This isn't action. It's
it's
brand management dressed up as militancy. It's about what we can actually do and deliver for people like you. And I'm so sad to hear you say how that's made you feel.
Well, let's see. William, I'm just going to move on. Okay, Ken, very briefly, if you're capable of it.
On this question?
Sure. Yes.
I'd just like to say something about the immigration.
Oh, for fuck's sake! We never, ever talk about it, chap. We've spent half of this question talking about it, but no, we never, ever talk about it.
Sexual violence against women would have a serious problem. And it's wrong to mix it up with the immigration crisis, I think. I am a very liberal person on all this. I'm extremely proud to live in a society which is multicultural, multi-ethnic, and we're compared with most other countries.
Just announcing that Ken Clarke has lost the Tory whip. There you go.
More like Ken Woke.
Exactly.
We're quite harmonious, we're tolerant, we've managed it. London's a very successful city in that respect, and long may it remain so. But we do have, even for someone like me, an immigration problem now. It's one of the problems failed to go. It goes back to the Boris wave, it goes back to introducing a visa system, points-based visa system, which at one point was increasing our population by about 1 million people a year, coming here for jobs with their families and not going back when the visa had run out, and exacerbated by these people coming over illegally. So those of us on the liberal, moderate side of politics have got to accept that the public, one of the reasons for public anger is they've got to tackle it, because it is actually
Wow, the sensible politicians and the sensible politics
and
didn't
gentlemen,
sort this problem already. That's crazy.
Damaging our race relations. It's making people more sensitive and aware of it, and people need to see it's under control, and we're only admitting, as we want to admit, honest people in the quantities we can handle to do things we need. And I hope the parties again will get together to do that without too much party political wrangling
the vast
and all the rest.
You were a fucking member of the Tory party under Thatcher and Major. You don't get to turn around and be like, can't we have a sensible middle ground, actually, lads, please? Fuck off. You destroyed the country for your own political fucking and financial gain. Suck my dick.
Really quickly, Zara, I'm not going to fit in the other questions.
As genuine asylum seekers. So I think this rhetoric that there are honest and good people is this framing for us to demonise some of the most marginalised and the most vulnerable. And just to Ken's point about immigration, how would you address an ageing population? How would you address the crises in social care and the NHS? And when you've got governments that are talking about building council homes and building housing, where do we get the workers from when it comes to...
All right, I tell you what, I'm just... Ken, forgive me. I'm just... Because we're quite a long way from the original question.
Oh, he was doing the old man thing.
Sorry. When I saw Mark Steele the other week,
right,
he did the most incredible Ken Clark impression. It was 1-to-1, and I was the only person in the audience who laughed.
Oh,
I was very sad. It was so... Because he was genuinely on the money.
Brilliant. You'd think he'd have gained an audience that would like him to the point where everyone would laugh anyway. Like, who's going to Mark Steele as, like, kind of up in the air as to whether they like him or not?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 more that I want to fit in. Immigration is clearly a very important topic, and we deal with it regularly on this programme. But I'm just going to...
No, we never talk about it.
Or else we won't get the other
Never.
questions.
It's never happened.
Yeah, how dare she move away from the reality, which is that we never talk about...
We never. Like, well, I mean, they don't talk about it on this show because, of course, it's one the liberal woke elite that run the BBC, of course.
Yeah, the people apparently who are too anti-Israel, according to the fucking Zionists.
True.
In which I know you wanted to ask, because otherwise we wouldn't have picked them. So, before I do, let me tell you that next week we're in Loughborough. Andy Burnham is on the panel, another man rumoured to be interested in the top job. Do you shed any light on that, Alex, since you're sitting there?
Yeah, but he's already pussied out, so who cares? Like, if you already, like, were gearing up to swing at the big dog and then you stepped back, it's over for you.
Yeah.
You'd like to? The week after that, we're in Watford. So if you live in or around Loughborough or Watford and you want to be on the programme, put your question.
Are there any more mid places in Britain than Loughborough and Watford? Just nothing places. Like, if they disappeared, would anyone notice? Really?
Instructions on the website, and hopefully we will see you there. Okay, Charlotte Rook, where are you? Off you go.
Can we trust the BBC?
Can we trust the BBC? That is your question. Well, the BBC has uncomfortably been in the news a lot this week. Just to put it in context, last week the Telegraph published a leaked memo from an independent advisor to the BBC's Editorial Standards Committee and expressed serious concern, amongst other things, about the editing of a panorama, and in particular a speech made Donald Trump at the time of the storming of the Capitol building in 2021. The BBC has apologised for that. Donald Trump, as you know, is threatening to sue.
And will not win.
It's also like it's what's crazy. It's a fucking giant nothing burger, isn't it?
Yeah, literally, it's nothing. Yeah. Like, the much worse thing is the fact that we know that you have fully paid, essentially, agents of the Israeli state dictating the narrative on how they cover Israel-Palestine for the last 2 years.
Yeah, like Avi Kohavi.
Yeah, like these people that we know are fundamentally pushing a more Zionist-friendly line in the BBC than would be possible if they actually took the kind of middle path as it were, which the BBC is sort of supposed to, right? A, it's supposed to be impartial, but B, it's supposed to sort of represent the British people. And in this regard, it's far more Zionist than the British public's attitudes are. Far more. But that's not even mentioned. Like with this, the Lib Dems are going big on the we need to investigate Russian interference in Britain, whilst completely ignoring Israel's blatant interference in British democracy.
Yep, quite.
Danny.
I don't think you can trust the BBC at the moment. And what we saw the other day is indicative of a broader prejudice, a bias that is endemic in the corporation. And it's right that they've apologised. It's right that senior leadership has taken responsibility. I was impressed by that. And clearly things have to be put right. I think what we've seen is a problem in the culture of all of our institutions, actually, that they've been taken over by probably perfectly well-meaning and decent people who don't realise their own biases, who think that they're neutral because they think, like everyone else who they have dinner with thinks. And actually they do have...
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you were an ordinary common man on the outside of that conversation.
Mr. Eton education.
Yeah.
It's incredible watching...
Ordinary normal Brits like myself don't like that kind of thing, actually.
It is very funny watching somebody who is just part of the overwhelming elite, right, in a party with someone who went to Dulwich fucking college as well, going, oh, well, the people at the BBC, they just don't understand regular people. I'm like, you don't know what a regular person is.
That's not true. He does see homeless people as he walks through the streets of London to his mansion.
Political prejudices, their political preferences. And the corporation has become a monoculture without dissenting voices, without anyone who might say, hang on, why are we stitching up Donald Trump? So we need a change of culture. And that would.
But they didn't stitch him up. This is that he was nothing, basically. It's not like they did a YouTube poop. They just spliced together two bits for brevity, basically.
And, like, it didn't need to matter because he did inspire a riot and an insurrection at the Capitol. That thing happened and he was found to have done so by the House Oversight Committee.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's
a total It's a total
you have to
nothing.
with a change of management. And that, ultimately, it's a public corporation. The government appoints the people who run it. We need a government that understands the values of the people of this country, believes in them, isn't going to allow the takeover of our institutions by this progressive agenda, and insists on
progressive
proper management.
I'm a great...
Well, sorry, let me just have that applause die down for a second, because a lot of people really love that.
It's like, what progressive agenda? I genuinely want to know what progressive agenda he thinks that the BBC is pushing on people unfairly. Like, especially when it comes to...
They don't have live executions of queers on Friday nights?
Yeah, it's like, I saw somebody say, it's like, well, they've not really had a proper discussion on the transgender question. I'm like, first of all, they get TERFs on all the time.
All the time.
They got a quote on a TERF on some fucking document or some like docudrama about a trans person, and was just like, why do you have a quote from a TERF? What did they gain with this? We're gonna have a quote from a member of the KKK when we're talking about black people now. Is this how we're gonna have balance, this impartiality in this modern world? I'm just realizing that saying, well, the BBC aren't getting enough impartiality on the trans question is like saying the BBC aren't getting enough impartiality on the Jewish question. That's the position that we're in, where, well, unfortunately, there are some people in this country who believe that there is a big Jewish plot controlling all institutions via the Rothschilds, and therefore we have brought on fucking Albert Moonhowler to talk about this very pressing concern so that this part of the public is represented. No, like, just because it's part of the population doesn't mean it's relevant.
But to be fair, Albert Moonhowler has been appointed as Minister for Jewish Affairs by the Reform Party.
True.
Fan of the BBC. I don't think it has systematic failings. It's a great national institution, and it's my main source of news, and it's probably one of the best sources of news in the world. I'm a total opponent of Donald Trump, who I think is a danger to the world in many, many ways. Having said that, I think this is outrageous. What happened on Panorama should be dealt with very severely. What they did was actually alter the meaning, the order of a particular speech in order to improve their case, just in case the audience might have any doubts that he had actually deliberately incited the riot, whether he did or not.
But he did. He did do that.
I don't know. But they stiffened up his language. They were making a point. Journalists of that kind should never work for the BBC. In my opinion, that's done in a newspaper. Altering a quotation, a decent newspaper would decide that journalist was not really upholding professional standards of journalism, should be dealt with severely. Obviously, some people have got to be held to account, and I don't know enough about the internal arrangements to know whether the right people have resigned. What I would like to know, in order to make sure this never happens again, if you possibly can, is what is being done about the people in Panorama, the actual editorial team and the journalists who actually were altering the evidence they were showing, were improving a speech to improve the case they were trying to make, the worst possible thing. If policemen had done that when investigating allegations against suspects of a crime, they would be...
Oh, wow, yeah, the police have never planted any evidence on anybody. Never happened.
And also, I guess I'm kind of convinced by his point here that in reality, like this idea that some like massive cultural problem at BBC and not a problem with the editing team for Panorama for that episode, that's the real issue here. Like this is something that is done by a specific team, and the BBC is a giant organisation that employs thousands of people, and one person edited a clip badly, another editor signed off during the edit suite, and then those two people are to blame, not fucking Tim Davie, even though I do think he's a prick.
Wayward, please take back that thank you for James, because even though he did give a super chat, he again compared me to Jeremy Beadle, and I will not have this. This is unacceptable abuse, okay? You're banned. You're banned. I'm banning you. Banning all of you. Everyone.
In very serious problems again. So the best thing the BBC could do is not repeat the mistake of trying to cover it all up and keep it out of the news, because that's, unfortunately, human nature makes that an instinct in lots of large corporations, and it's wrong. What I'd like to know is what on earth is being done about the so-called journalists in Panorama who are responsible for this outrage and have let down the reputations of a very important profession in this country.
Lots of hands up here. Let's try and...
So important that you were happy to sit alongside Boris Johnson, who paid to have one of their numbers beaten up.
True.
Let's not forget that, because he was in the Commons not that long ago.
Let's try and get round. Yes, the man at the back in the white shirt.
Ken, I'll accept the excuses there, but ultimately the BBC put their stamp on that programme. And, you know, the public aren't stupid. We know that there's politically lead...
Okay, counterpoint. Yes, they are.
Also, briefcase.
Yeah. Well, not just briefcase. As soon as I saw him, instant fashy vibes. I don't know what it was about him. I was just thinking, this is a little fucking Hitlerite, if I've ever seen one.
News sources, but at the end of the day, the taxpayers pay for the BBC. And I don't mind if...
No, the licence fee payers pay for the BBC. You dumb cunt. Please learn the difference between these things.
The BBC do want to lean either way, depending on which government's in power. No, but either we should not pay that TV licence fee, or we should be able to vote for who...
You don't have to. You just can't watch TV. Simple.
Yep.
Who's in charge of the BBC?
Okay, man here towards the front.
Backtracking slightly, but...
Hang on, so you want the BBC to become a overtly political organisation by having to seek election via popular mandate? Because that will definitely get rid of bias, apparently, in journalism.
I do believe in democratising the BBC, but it's got to be like appointments to a board. You know, it can't just be a government of BBC where...
Well, that's what I mean, yeah.
Like you can't just have one individual have all the power to dictate the content and therefore make it overtly political. You just have to have enough representation from people on a board that represents the broader views of the electorate.
Well, exactly, because I don't want there to be a state broadcaster. I like that there's a national broadcaster. That, I think, is the best way of going about it, because you have the best bits of a state broadcaster, but without the government just doing blatant fucking propaganda or like taking over the place and it becoming like fucking Pravda or some dumb shit, right?
Well, that's what's crazy is that a lot of these rightoids basically do, insofar as like Tim Montgomery saying, well, the BBC is undermining the sanctity of the importance of the nation state by not putting British values first. And I'm just like, so you want it to be press TV?
Yeah,
you
basically,
want it to be Russia Today?
They absolutely do. Yes, they want GBBs to become the BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed Mr. Clark said there was no link between immigration and sexual violence against women and girls. I wondered if he has anything to say about the grooming gangs of largely Pakistani descent.
What the fuck is going on? Are they taking the piss? Are they actually taking the piss now? Because neither of these questions have had anything to do with immigration, and yet people in the audience are like, well, anyway, what about the Pakistani grooming gangs? What?
And like, even then, he's just trying to say, well, I've got this anecdote here. And I'm like, okay, those people did some bad things. I know it was bad, and they should be convicted.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, what about the white ones? Do you not care about the white ones? Is it just the Pakistani ones you care about? Okay, interesting.
Communities across our country.
That's a perfectly valid question, but we've moved on. So if you'll forgive me, I'll stick with the subject in
The
hand.
only reason I didn't come in was I wasn't asked to come in.
Right.
I have
Well,
strong
let's-
feelings in immigration, which I gave in my reply, and I'm certainly not going to start putting in racial connotations into what we have to do about immigration or crime or anything else.
The woman behind you, yes, in the blue sweater.
Thank you.
Is it
Yeah, that was fine. Yeah.
right that the buck stops here at the top? Is it right that the people at the top go for things that have happened further down in the company, not just the BBC, but it always seems to be right at the very top, those people resign. What happens to the people that have actually done this? You know,
Do you think they shouldn't have resigned?
You need both
I
levels.
think,
Hang on,
not
let's hear it,
I
Kenneth.
think not necessarily. They shouldn't resign.
Okay, all right.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
When is Donald Trump going to be held to account for inciting a riot on the Capitol, the centre of American democracy? And yet we're talking about a couple of guys who did some poor editing in a panorama programme.
True.
Also true.
Does Reform think we should prosecute those who do not pay the BBC licence fee?
Danny, do you want to answer that?
That's a good question. Well, if it's illegal, obviously it needs to be
Plant!
prosecuted. I would...
Obvious plant.
Yep, very much so. It's like when you get a Morgan McSweeney question at PMQs. Like
It literally
it's
is.
so blatant.
Expect extreme lenience in that case. It's a very minor offence, and we've got enough genuine criminals on our streets that should take the attention of the police and the prosecutors. I mean, I think the gentleman at the back made a valid point, which is that if there is to be a national broadcaster, it needs to be publicly accountable. And if it's to be paid for nationally, whether that's through a licence fee or through taxation, we need the government to insist on impartiality. I think the funding model is a big question we can all debate, but fundamentally, if it's a public corporation, it needs to be impartial and it needs to be properly accountable, ultimately, to Parliament.
Woman in the pink sweater.
With AI becoming more accessible and more powerful, how are we going to safeguard against misinformation moving forward?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. But I will let you answer the first question, so which is, can we trust the BBC?
I have to say that the BBC does not have a left-wing bias. Academic studies show that there is disproportionate coverage and airtime of government framing. If you think about the focus on fiscal discipline over the human cost of austerity, think back to the strikes and the focus being on the disruption that was caused rather than why workers are going on strike. And also the BBC's coverage of Gaza has been truly shameful. If we think about the refusal to use the word occupation, the refusal to air the documentary Gaza, Doctors Under Attack. And the fundamental point I'm trying to make is that we need a healthy, independent BBC because it holds power to account. This BBC has not been doing that, but I can't allow Danny and others to make points that essentially weaken our public media and tighten political control. The buck lies with the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, who's ultimately responsible for the BBC. And Lisa Nandy's taken donations from David Cogan, the football regulator. Keir Starmer has too. So when we talk about cronyism in the Tory party, it's smelly in the Labour Party as well. It stinks. And also when it comes to the Culture Secretary using Parliament to smear people as anti-Semites for saying Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have a history of football hooliganism, if Lisa Nandy had any self-respect, she would resign over the BBC, over the football regulator.
Cooking hard. I mean, it's not the question.
Not
The
remotely
question-
the question.
no related to the question. But you know what? Fuck it. She got the one time that she needs to make a point, and she is making it. And you know what? Can you really blame her?
True. She doesn't like that, does she? Looks like she's
No,
just
no, she
smelt.
doesn't.
It looks like Danny Kruger's just farted or something.
She just swallowed a lemon.
It's just registered.
Later donations and also using Parliament to smear people.
You think Lisa Nandy should resign over
Yes,
the
I do.
BBC?
Look, we need a strong BBC, an independent BBC, like we've talked about, and an impartial
Pause.
BBC. When we talk about the rise of AI,
I think it's interesting that Zarah Sultana didn't bring up the Labour files.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's true.
I would immediately would have gone, well, if it's such a scandal that people must resign over one editing mistake in a panorama video about a right-winger, why is that not the case in a video about a left-winger? When they published the John Ware programme on the BBC, the panorama one, about anti-Semitism in Labour, they spliced together in a very similar fashion, in my opinion, things that Izzy Lenger said about her time in the Labour Party. I don't think that was John Ware. I think that was the editors of Panorama who did that, for what it's worth. But even so, that's a similar kind of changing of meaning through editing. And that was a left wing at total silence. And the left were called cranks for calling this out. We were called cranks for pointing out the Russian hat on Newsnight. We were called cranks for pointing out a bunch of the things that Laura Kuenssberg had said in the run-up to the election, like talking about vote counts or whatever it was. And it's just swept under the carpet when it's a left-winger that's the target of these things.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, of course.
when we talk about deepfakes, the social media misinformation, we need a journalism that we can all rely on to tell the truth, that is accurate and reliable, that we can all depend on, even more so. That is why the BBC is such one of our greatest cultural institutions. We need to support the BBC, but I also think that when they do make mistakes, that they
Say again,
own up.
greatest cultural institutions. It's, oh God.
It's good. I mean, she
Can
says there needs to be
can we steal her voice and just remove her from it, please?
It's just, she's saying it needs to be, you know, when it gets something wrong, should be held to account. I'm like, but they actually lost a libel case against Jerry Adams. They lied. He won the case against the BBC. Like this libel case, I think that Donald Trump's going to put up, I think he's going to lose.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll win. Jerry Adams literally beat the BBC on a libel case, and why is that not grounds for resignation? Again, it's if you're a right winger, you can have a whole country and media on your side smearing the BBC.
Yeah.
When it's a lefty, or indeed somebody who has links to the IRA, which is, again, doesn't matter if you have links to the IRA or not. Doesn't matter. Not he claims that he didn't, of course. If it doesn't matter, like the potential for your links to the IRA, you still deserve to not be libeled by the public broadcaster.
Yeah.
Very simple. And for some reason, Jerry Adams gets away with it. The BBC gets away with it about Jerry Adams. But Donald Trump gets touched. Oh no, the right winger. Oh, we got to have up in arms.
Well, going back to the previous story, when Jeremy Corbyn was the one being briefed against by his cabinet member, or his shadow cabinet as it was, members, that was fine. The great noticing didn't take place. Now it's Wes Streeting that's having his jimmies riddled with. He's all of a sudden the media are up in arms about this. This needs to be investigated. This is an outrage. What happened to good governance?
Up to them, that they are accountable, that they are transparent, and they rectify them quickly. But we as a government stand ready to support the BBC because we all need it. You know, you're all here this evening, you're watching at home, supporting the BBC and their licence fee. It is essential to our news and our source of information here in the UK.
Okay, let me hear a couple more points before I move on.
Also,
Yes,
we can't mention Jerry Adams without Sinn Féin as a legitimate political party.
Political party. Your tone is antagonistic and you're making me very angry.
As someone who studied
Like, people forget that when we're going about, like, oh, Britain's a bastion of free speech. They literally had an elected member of the parliament, who didn't take his seat for obvious reasons, have to be voiced by an actor because they couldn't allow him to speak on TV.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Mental. That happened in my lifetime. This isn't like something from the 50s or something. The fuck?
Yeah, and I was like, Donald Trump's done way worse things than Jerry Adams.
Significantly worse, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's about to invade fucking Venezuela to distract from him being a child rapist.
Communications here in London. I do worry that the more we talk about the BBC and ITV and all these big corporations with our news, we're turning people towards social media and outlets that may not give them correct partial news, meaning that we're going to have misinformation spreading, but also extremism that sadly we're seeing a lot in this country at the moment.
Okay. All right, listen, I'm going to stop it there simply because I've got 2 more questions to fit in, and I won't unless I move on. Let me hear from Andrew Johnson. Oh, there you are.
We're all desperately waiting for public services to get better, but none of us wants to pay more tax. Are we all just bad at maths?
All right.
Well, not just bad at math, you're bad at politics. Yeah.
Well, you got a laugh from the audience for that. Listen, Ken, I'm going to come to you first as former Chancellor. What's your answer?
I think it's true. Firstly, I agree with the questioner. What is popular, what will give you the opinion polls that you want tomorrow, is to say that we can have the best Scandinavian type public services, but we're going to have taxes at least as low as the lowest American states, and that will put you miles ahead of the polls. That is why many chancellors, beginning with Geoffrey Howe in my time and since.
But whereas Tories went, let's just drop the corporation tax rate on those highest earners and wealthy people, and just borrow loads and massively balloon the national debt. Let's just do that.
Thing is,
cool.
he talks about Geoffrey Howe was so right wing that the Tory grandees at the time said he shouldn't be in the party.
Yeah.
He was so right-wing, he was advised against being appointed to the state by basically everybody who'd been a political figure preceding Thatcherism, right?
Mm-hmm. Have faced the dilemma which the present one's faced ever since she came in. She's got to be unpopular. She's got to raise taxation because we need more revenue. We have a terrible, terrible debt problem. We cannot carry this burden of debt very much further. It'll crush and cause us into crisis. She's going to have to cut public expenditure. She's going to have to raise taxation substantially. It's like Geoffrey Howe in 1981. It's like my first budget, George Osborne. This happened several times before.
The cavalcade of cunts, yes. Yeah, and you all made the wrong decisions. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, there's huge issues outside of this that he's just not paying attention to. And again, like, the debt isn't the real problem here. Growth is the real problem. Living standards are a real problem. Inequality is a real problem. The debt is irrelevant, quite frankly, and it has always been irrelevant. What's the point in caring about the debt when we are a sovereign currency issuer? It's never going to default on this debt.
And your duty, you came into politics because you have opinions about, you think, rather the national interest, how you're going to actually help the long-term future of the country. Do what's in the national interest, and it's your job to put your tin hat on and get with it. We cannot have welfare payments, for example, exploding at the rate we are. What she failed...
Again, as a percentage of GDP, it's virtually never been lower as public spending.
I mean, it's significantly lower than a bunch of other countries. Once you take out, of course, the state pension, which is a benefit that all elderly people get, which is not the same as other countries who have a welfare state. So we have a big welfare bill, but half of it is the state pension, which is technically a welfare bill, and other countries have like mandatory pay into a private pension, which is obviously different. But we do it via the state, and that's not means tested, and it's triple locked. So it's quite a big part of the welfare bill. So you can change that if you want the welfare bill to go down. But the idea that we can just leave the pension bill untouched whilst doing all of the cuts into the actual welfare bill for people like the disabled is nonsense, total nonsense.
To get through wasn't welfare cuts. It was slightly slowing the pace at which people are demanding and getting all kinds of extraordinary welfare payments. I hope the Liberal Party...
Extraordinary. Honestly, the people in chat who were like, oh, King Clark's all right. Can you apologise to me personally for having dared to suggest that? The man is a fucking demon.
In 12 of the last 14 years, unemployment has not been enough to cover the basic standard of living.
Yeah.
And again, if he talks about parts of the welfare bill that are rising, or even not even slowing the rate at which they're increasing is going up as well. It's the state pension. But he's not talking about that. He's talking about people on disability.
Party and the Conservative Party, both of whom also say the growth of welfare payments has got to be cut, would sit down with the government and agree a programme they would get through Parliament against these novice, naive Labour...
Oh yeah, fucking adults in the room, yeah. Yeah, if there's one surefire way of destroying your prime ministership, it's by getting your key piece of legislation through on the back of Tory votes, you dumb bastard. You should know that. You really should.
Quite.
Considering you were literally in the government that got the Maastricht bill through because of votes from, was it the SDP or whoever the fuck it was, that just got them over the line? And it made
All of the Lib Dems. They'd already done the...
Oh, the
so
Lib Dems. So yeah, they'd already... Yeah, okay, the Liberal Democrats.
It was under Paddy Ashdown, right?
Yeah. And he got it through by like 4 votes or something ridiculous.
Gee.
And it basically held him below the waterlines. He managed to just cling on until 97, but like realistically, he was dead in the water. Yeah, because he couldn't get his own party to vote for his absolutely key piece of legislation. Tragic.
Backbenchers who just want to do things that will get popular in the local newspapers when they vote for it tomorrow. These are tough.
Or they don't want to vote to impoverish their electorate. Which is, I know it's crazy for a Tory, right? Because you want to impoverish people, but not everyone does.
Difficult times. And we will, if you do the tough things now, get through to an improving scene where people's living standards are improving again and not declining as they are at the moment.
Oh, yeah, they've been declining ever since your fucking politics entered the scene, you dumb bastard. Also, thank you to everyone who did apologise in chat. I was joking. You didn't have to actually apologise. It's fine. I just wanted a kind of funnier way of saying he's a prick without just saying he's a prick.
Because GDP per person is actually going down. Our GDP may be going up, but that's because of the numbers of people immigrating.
So obviously Labour said that they would not raise income tax, VAT or national insurance. And that was their manifesto. But do you think they should raise income tax specifically?
No political party should make daft promises of that kind in any election manifesto.
Not wrong.
Yeah. When you're trying to be in government, not just protesting about government as some do, but actually thinking...
Oh, student politics. Oh.
Thinking you're going to run it, you have no idea what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Events, dear boy, events. Okay. You will face complicated crises where...
You are very old. You need to leave the stage, either politically or actually. Okay? Your time has been. It has been a failure. Good luck. I hope you've got asbestos underwear. You will need
it. You have to take on-balance decisions and see what the outturn is. You will hope after 5 years that things are obviously improving. People accept that they hated what you did at the time, but actually perhaps somebody had to do it and it's getting better now. And then, as after the amazingly unpopular budget of 1981, which Geoffrey Howe introduced, he was the most hated man in the country. By 1983, the Thatcher government, we got a bigger majority.
It was the Falklands, mate. It was the Falklands.
The Falklands and the Labour Party disintegrating.
That is true. That is also very, very true. What is quite funny as well is that he says, oh, well, I remember the Geoffrey Howe budget in 1981. Yeah, you'd also been an MP for 11 years. You are quite literally a cadaver.
Yeah.
Oh, pause,
sorry.
Upturn in the economy, which is what the public are most demanding. Show you know what you're doing. Stop bothering about these dozens of opinion polls which don't tell you anything about what it is your duty to do.
Danny, you've been trying to get into the last couple of minutes.
Well, that was tremendous, and I mean, I honour Ken and his experience here. I agree with him on welfare reform, by the way, that's essential. I don't agree with him, or I think with the audience who seem to be applauding the idea of tax rises. And the gentleman suggests that in order to get public services, we need more taxation. I'm afraid that isn't the case. We've been pouring more and more money into the public sector for years, and the productivity, I mean, the output you get for that money is declining. Yes, even under this famous austerity, public spending went up. Certainly in the last 5 years it has, significantly, and particularly in the NHS. Outcomes are worse. And that is because we...
In the NHS, we had the biggest sustained drop in funding as a percentage of GDP every year from 2010 until 2019. What the fuck are you talking about, Danny?
Yeah, he's just lying. He's just lying. Simple.
We have a system that needs proper reform. And what that needs fundamentally...
Selling it off?
No, let's just get on to public services in general.
I agree with that.
Thank you. So to the gentleman's point about improving public services, reform councils have been getting a fair bit of attention in recent months, quite rightly, because the public are interested in us.
Should we just say why they're getting
and
it?
you're a shambles. You're literally you've become the fucking the Kent Judean People's Front, where you've now got 3 or 4 different reform groups on that council because they've been kicked out, and there's one person who's suing the party and all sorts. Or in Warwickshire, where you've got a 19-year-old fucking spermatozoa running the place, trying to take away kids' school buses.
It's just crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff, isn't it? All the people in Kent going, it's fine, we're going to do all these cuts and you're going to see a drop in council tax. Oh, no, wait, we're increasing it by 5% anyway.
Brilliant.
Sorry. And they're like, well, we did do some cuts anyway, and it's all coming from capital budgets.
Yeah.
Essentially, costs that they have to pay for once and they get a better service, and then that's fine. So they're just cutting, improving services that would only be needed to pay for a single time because they're idiots.
Yeah.
You'd think, right, for all of the people in reform who say everything needs to be run like a business, they don't understand the difference between fucking capital expenditure and operational expenditure. So basically, it's fine, we just cut capex. It's not a problem. That will be a problem. It will be a problem if you cut capex. You should know this. I hate business. I'm a socialist, right? I fucking hate business balance. Even I know more about this shit than they do.
Out of the, is it 13 councils, correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, 8 are indicated they are going to raise taxes, raise council tax, despite at least some of them having come in and say they were going to reduce it.
Well, yes, so what's happening is the local government in this country is nearly bankrupt. Other parties which do not get any...
Right, but you said that you wouldn't need to raise taxes because of all the DEI you were going to cut that definitely existed. And then you got
like 7 roles.
It's
in
like
total
it's like with the Tory fucking with David Davis going to Europe and them having to explain how the EU even worked because they voted for something that they didn't understand fundamentally. They opposed something they didn't understand, and the same is true now with reform. Is that they didn't understand the remotest thing. They thought they were going to get into councils and be able to just ban all of the migrants because that's what a council does. No.
Just get rid. They're just going to cut the miscellaneous waste. There's so much waste. It's a public body, therefore it is all waste. I'm like, actually, they're mostly operating on shoestring budgets, and all of it is going on adult social care and temporary accommodation. Yep. And they found that out, and they've realised they have nothing to cut, and they're going to have to raise taxes because they're idiots.
Yep. And one of the reasons that they're so financially cash-strapped is because of the massive cuts to the council block grants that have been given by central government, the government that you were a part of.
Yes.
Anything like the attention that reform has, are genuinely bankrupt. Conservative councils, Labour councils going out of business.
But the point is, once they got to the coalface and they actually had to run these councils, they realised they couldn't cut taxes.
Well, we want to cut taxes, absolutely. It was never party policy. No, sorry, there was never party policy. Nigel Farage never said that we were going to cut council tax.
Yeah, but some of the councils...
No, but the councils were elected on a promise to block... Look, no one said it was a blanket thing across all of the country. The Kent Reform Party specifically said they would cut taxes, and they're now going to raise it by the maximum legal amount before they have to seek governmental approval. Like, come on, mate. You're a joke.
So, well,
did,
listen,
come on, the councils did when they were trying to get
That's right.
elected.
So that is regrettable, and we have 1,000 new councillors elected from nowhere. If some of them put something stupid on their leaflet, they shouldn't have.
From nowhere? And what do you mean from nowhere? From your party? Not your party, the Reform Party had the best possible selection account, all that shit. And now it's, these random people. 1,000 randomoids off the street randomly became leaders of councils. Well, maybe if you'd chosen not people who weren't fucking idiots, that would have been good.
They were vetted, though. They were vetted, Kev. They've got a really thorough vetting process at the Reform headquarters.
Oh, it's so good, yeah. I think eeny, meeny, miny, mo isn't the best way of selecting, leaders of councils. Call me crazy.
I agree with Ken about that. But the party policy was never to cut council tax until we can get on top of spending, which, by the way, is our national policy too. We're not going to reduce taxes until we can retrench public spending overall. But the way we can do that, and coming back to local government, in the councils that we run, we have identified tens of millions of savings.
Then why are you putting up council tax?
Because there's still absolute crisis in our local government. And their social care costs are out of control. But improvements are being made. So absolutely. So there needs to be properly funded. But we have a problem across the council.
So why did you take part in successive governments that didn't fund it properly?
And on top of not funding it properly, also pushed even further privatisation, which is costing our councils more and getting worse service. It's almost like the Conservative Party has always been a fucking Ponzi scheme to dump public money into the hands of their mates in the private sector on dodgy contracts.
Yep.
Sector, which is why all parties are having a crisis of one sort or another. We are committed to reform. We are making genuine cuts in wasteful spending. Tens of millions of pounds coming out of
That's austerity, Danny.
Well, you call it austerity. It's
It is
also improving
austerity.
things. I mean, in
It's not efficiency.
Derbyshire, quickly, we have just cleared the backlog of potholes, which is the thing that comes up all the time in local government elections. 17,000 potholes filled in the last 6 months because you have effective leadership of the council. So
I live in a county with a reform council. They just won. Some of the people elected didn't even know that it sat during the day, so they resigned quite quickly because they couldn't take time off work. Most of them had no idea what the county council was.
What did they think? I hope that's true, because that's amazing stupidity. Well, you thought they would? What, the council sat overnight? Well, they did the graveyard shift at the council building. What the fuck are you what? Oh God, these people are dumb. They're so dumb.
Responsible for. They fought on a promise of cutting waste and cutting council tax, and they've just put up the council tax by the maximum.
I don't think they did fight on that.
What they were doing, they were protesting.
Yes, they did. They specifically did. In Kent and various other places, they specifically said, we will cut your council tax. It was a very key part of their pledge before the election. And now, as pointed out, and it must be pointed out, not only are they raising it, they're raising it by the maximum they can before the government have to okay it. So literally the scammiest bastards going.
Failure of legitimate politics, standing for politics as amateurs, and where reform has taken over, you have a lot of complete beginners who are still doing a study as to what actually county councils are responsible to do and finding out a bit about adult social care, education, or whatever it happens to be.
Yes, well, certainly we are challenging the incumbent system, which has corrupted and bankrupted local government and is responsible for all of the problems which is producing the...
You were in government for 14 years, whilst those councils were bankrupted. Daniel!
Sort of excessive politics of the left that we're seeing.
Excessive
from Zarah.
politics.
So
not having austerity,
well,
Danny.
yes, so
which killed over 300,000 people.
Yes, indeed. So.
And has cut the average life by half a year. Austerity, Danny. You want to defend that on the BBC right now?
Well, so I am going to say that we need public spending.
What does that
hasn't
mean?
Been for many years.
Honestly, she doesn't even have a tennis racket, and yet she's serving.
It's so good. Honestly, I'm loving her cook these motherfuckers. Because it's right. She's just totally right. He's just saying the problem is we've spent too much when the opposite is true.
Yeah.
Every department, councils have been starved of resources, block grants down from 2010, some councils with 40% smaller block grants then, and higher costs because of all of these things being pushed onto councils by changes by Conservative and neoliberal New Labour governments as well. They could have done something. Like our overall taxation as a percentage of GDP significantly lower than functioning social democracies. We should have higher taxation. Predominantly, that should go on the rich, but I think that there's a reasonable case for income tax going up as well, across the board too, so people have more buy-in to a society that works for everybody. But this idea that we can just cut tax and cut waste and there'll be no negative externalities is pipe dream nonsense. It is quite unironically student politics for him to say that, because he is just somebody who cares about power.
Mad Cat, who, by the way, everyone should go and follow, says, Kev, do these clowns stand a chance in Birmingham next year? Well, it depends which clowns you're referring to. Labour, not really. The Reform Party will pick up a few seats, but they won't become the council. And I suspect a lot of independents, kind of pro-Palestine-y type people, will probably pick up seats, I imagine. Yeah. The Greens might do okay, but I don't know if they'll pick up that many seats just because they don't have huge functioning parties across the city, unfortunately. Although that is changing, but, you know.
It needs to be. I want absolute better outcomes for everybody, and particularly that means for the lowest paid families in crisis. The way we do that is not by pumping more and more money into a welfare system that produces long-term generational poverty, that breaks down families and communities.
Stop,
we need an
stop,
economy
stop,
that
stop,
actually
stop,
works.
stop. The reason why people get stuck in the welfare system and they can't get out of it is because it's not generous enough. Because their problems become cyclical. Some people off work with poor mental health or with actual musculoskeletal issues or things that are on NHS waiting lists. 40% of incapacity claimants are on waiting lists for the NHS, right? These are all problems with austerity, with not spending enough on the NHS, not having good enough welfare payments, which makes it cyclical. If you give people the resources to be able to get out of that trap, they will be able to do it. But you want to take those resources away because you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. As if all that matters is just they'll just get out of bed and have more gumption, and that will get them out of the rut that they're in. I mean, if they had that, they would have done it already.
Yeah. Thank you, Salted Snakes with Biddy Bits. I missed that, but yes, thank you. Yes, don't forget you can give us both money in the form of bits and memberships and super chats and subscriptions and all of that sort of jazz.
That doesn't mean taxing everybody to death.
How will austerity grow the economy, Danny? How will austerity grow the economy? That's not Keynesian economics,
well, let me try and explain quickly. If you reduce taxation, you stimulate growth, you cause businesses to invest in jobs, you put money in people's pockets which they spend on goods and services. That is the way to get the economy growing. That is the way to fight poverty. Your model is socialism, and it doesn't work.
So I know you want to come in.
Yes.
Well, you've had your run of it for 50 years and everything has gotten worse.
And wages are lower. Like, if you wanted people to have money to spend, maybe you should have done anything other than supply-side labour market reform for literally every year the Conservatives have been in government fucking ever since 1979. Maybe you should have actually put demand into labour, or demand for labour, so that the value of their labour went up, so that they could get more money to spend in their local economies.
Yep.
And of course, that's your opinion, but I'm just going to hear from our audience as well. So the man in the back in the blue top.
Sorry, any fiscal prudence that's suggested you categorise as austerity, which doesn't bode well for any hard decisions that your party may make?
Unfortunately, not all Scottish people are based. Some of them.
I mean, just again, this is the problem. Like there is like a couple of times where I think that there have been some reasonable cases for austerity, like globally in history, where sometimes there has been a public realm that's been a little bit too bloated, or they've printed too much money and it's caused inflation. Look at Argentina, for example. There was clearly an inflationary problem because of excessive money printing, right? Like very small cases. 99% of the time, austerity, terrible idea, kneecaps growth, kills the important things that are necessary for a functioning public realm to be able to facilitate even the private sector in a social democracy. And in most of those cases, it's been a total failure when it's been implemented. And there's very, very few good examples of that being the case. And Mark Blythe has an excellent book. Mark Blythe has an excellent book called Austerity, The Dangerous Idea, and it shows you that it's failed every time, almost.
Okay, I'll come to you in a minute. Hang on, just let me hear a bit more from the audience. Yes, man here in the blue sweater.
Evidently, we have a spending problem. So is it not wise then to have something like a constitutional debt break to prevent people from just parties from constantly...
Oh, yeah, that's what you need, because that's worked out fantastically in America recently, you dumb bastard.
And Germany. And Germany as well.
Yeah,
they've also got a stupid debt break.
Yeah, the fucking chaos we've just seen in America. Let's import that. You're a fucking idiot, mate. Honestly, saying something that stupid should disallow you from voting. You can't be trusted.
I mean, in just any sense of the word, anything that is restrictive on what you can do up to a specific limit that is constitutionally or statutory in its nature is a ridiculous idea. Right? It's stupid to say we will never raise these taxes. because you don't know what's going to happen. It's stupid to say we will cap migration at this level because you don't know what's going to happen. It's stupid to say we will cap the public debt at this level because you don't know what's going to happen. Any hard and fast rule that you cannot exceed in times of crisis, just like we had with the energy bill stuff under Liz Truss, right? All of that stuff. It's stupid to have a hard and fast limit in place because you do not know when you're going to need to break it. And that has happened every single time they've hit the debt limit in America in the last, 10 years now, because they've needed to do expansionary policy. They've not been able to do so because of a stupid fucking debt limit.
True. Thank you, Vicky Clee, for 10 months of membership on the YouTubes. Much love.
Spending.
Okay, man in the colourful tie, yeah.
Yeah, the thing issues of about taxation when there is no production does not make sense, because Britain, which was an industrial power, has collapsed completely, both the service industry and the manufacturing industry. So taxing people just for its own sake, when there is no services, when cost of living is very high, that's why people are complaining. So the government should really look in retraining people who are going to go in manufacturing and service industry, get people back into work so that people should be able to afford. Okay. Now people cannot even afford cost of living. That's the problem.
Person next to you.
I think it's all about honesty. We've got a Chancellor and a Prime Minister that stand at the box say, we're not going to raise taxes a year ago. They raise taxes. And then they go, we're not going to raise taxes again. And then 6 months later, everybody knows that taxes are going to rise. They're not on working people. They don't know what a working person is. I think it's 45 grand. They said was a working person. That categorises teachers and nurses and that.
What's happening?
They not class them as working people. They're not on working people.
Go on,
Didn't they describe working people essentially as those who sell their labour for a wage? Isn't that basically what they described it as? So not like landlords and people who make money off of capital gains? Isn't that what they were saying? I don't know where he's got this 45,000 figure from.
His rectum.
Stood up there and said, we need to raise taxes to do this. I think people would accept it a lot more.
Alex. Hang on, let's let Alex answer. Ken, just for a minute, let's let Alex answer.
Pause,
otherwise she's not going to get time to answer.
Hang on. Whoa. So Alex gets to answer straight away, but Zarah can't even come back when she's directly asked a question.
I mean, there's, just the kind
ridiculous
of political impartiality you expect from the BBC. But what I will say is that the end of that guy's comment was basically correct, which is that if they've just gone up to in front of the country, got diplomatic, they've just got in front of the country and had a democratic mandate for raising taxes and said public realm's a mess, look at the state of the NHS, put taxes up a bit, fix these problems, might be able to put them down again when all of those problems are over, everyone would have been fine with it. They would have still won the giant election. There still would have been a split of the vote on the right, still would have been able to win over from the Liz Truss, and they would have none of these issues of trust, apart from obviously Keir Starmer lying to become the leader. But then again, that is all part of the same morass of issues. Because
also, he was lying to lefties, so that's fine.
Yeah, true.
You're right. We have a choice here between austerity, and Rachel Reeves will have a choice at the budget, on austerity or investing in our public services. And Ken is right. You play the hand you're dealt at the time, right? This is the situation of where we are right now. We can make choices based on Labour values, and it goes back to what I was saying around how the decisions that we make as a Labour government highlight what the priorities are and the priorities of the public. It's about ensuring that we have taxed private schools in order to make sure that we can fix the roofs of primary schools and feed children so they have full bellies going to school in the morning. That's what those decisions are
Even
making.
a year ago, there were plenty of people from the Institute of Fiscal Studies onwards saying, you're going to have to raise taxes. And so Rachel is now saying, it's all very different now. There are plenty of people saying a year ago, this is what's going to happen.
And you chose the wrong tax by putting this huge tax on employment, of all things.
Well, this is about fairness, right? This is about fairness and ensuring that we have a fair fiscal base, that our taxation system is fair, and that we're all paying our way here. Like we all have to budget responsibly in our own homes, right? We all have to prioritise our spending.
She's going to say magic money tree next.
Yeah, and I will actually combust. You will see me. You will see me aflame on stream chat.
Budget, it's not the same as a household budget, Alex.
What's important
Go
here,
on,
though, is
Zarah.
that we're not just paying off our credit card debt, that we don't want to be paying
It's
off
not
the
credit
debt
cards!
of our...
We have to live inside our means.
Country for future generations here. This is about ensuring that we can invest in going forward in our future, that we can prioritise growth in our economy, and that we can make sure that we have public services fit for the future after 14 years of austerity. And government debt, country debt, that quadrupled under the Conservative government.
What about that manifesto, Alex? What about the
more.
manifesto promise? The manifesto promise could not have been clearer. Ken has just called it daft. Lucy Powell, the new deputy leader, says we have to stick to that promise of not raising taxes. Is that what's going to happen?
I'm not. I would like my job in the morning. I'm not going to sit here and preempt what's going to be in the budget under Rachel Reeves. But what I can tell you is the decisions that she is making will be based on fairness. They will be.
Keir Starmer would like his job in the morning as well, but, you know, nothing's guaranteed.
Fully costed. We're awaiting the OBR forecast to make sure that we are being responsible with the government's finances, with the taxpayers' finances. But what's important here is that we are doing what the country want in terms of investing in our public services, rebuilding the country following 14 years of austerity, where our prisons were in crisis, our NHS was in crisis, and our schools were literally crumbling. This is what we need to be doing, is fixing the foundations, and that's what this Labour government is doing.
Bingo!
Oh, old
Bingo!
school. Old school. You haven't, well, you've not got the memo. It's patriotic renewal now. That's the new buzzword. You can't say fixing the because he's already fixed the foundations. Now it's patriotic renewal.
That was the first budget. First budget was the fixing the foundations budget. We're now on the national renewal budget.
Honestly, phase 2 is going so well.
All of this. The glaring omission in all of this is no one's mentioned wealth taxes. The super rich in our country are very rich. We're the 6th largest economy in the world. If we had a 2% wealth tax on assets over 10 million, anyone in the room...
That was cinema. That blurry to zoom in on the face of a woman trying to explode another person's head with your mind is... Yeah, that was lovely.
Assets over £10 million. Well, actually, only 20,000 people in the country do. If we taxed assets over 10 million, we would generate £24 billion a year. If we equalised capital gains tax with income tax, that's £17 billion. The magic money tree exists. It's in the City of London. And
Go on, lads. Fuck yes. Turn it around. Yeah, no, there is a magic money tree. And we'll fucking take it from you cunts. Yeah. Brilliant.
I mean, it's literally it reminds you of the artist Taxi Driver from the 2017 election.
Yeah.
I was like the Tory magic money tree is called the public. You.
Yeah.
And it's with the billionaires. But what you find is the lack of political will, because these parties are bankrolled by the billionaires, so they're definitely not going to tax them.
True. You asked this question. What do you make of what you're hearing?
Well, I think there are just different levers you can do with tax. So, I think maybe Rachel Reeves should have been honest at the beginning of the situation we faced. It feels like she's doing it a year too late in terms of thinking about income tax. But there are other things you can do in terms of maybe reducing some taxes to encourage spending. So I was interested, I think it was the Lib Dems who said today or yesterday about cutting VAT in pubs and restaurants by 5%.
And the rejoin bonus. So.
Yeah, and the skills wallets.
Fuck yes.
That would all get us out celebrating for Christmas. So we'd all love that. And that would raise maybe more tax because people would be going out spending. So I think there's different levers that you can do on tax.
Okay.
That's not how that works. The discretionary income they were spending in places with higher taxes will then go to the places you're incentivizing them to spend to with lower taxes. If they have someone will have a broad spending envelope. If they, instead of spending on something with higher taxes, spend on something with lower taxes because you've incentivized it with that lower tax, they're just going to pay less tax rather than more tax. Yeah. It's just how the opposite of the case, that when you put VAT on private school fees, they'll still spend all that money. They have this spending envelope as a family. They will spend all that money. But instead of some of that expenditure being on something without a tax on it, the private schooling, which then means they're paying less tax overall as their expenditure, they would then be paying more, or more than they otherwise would have been, because part of that's now going to be taxed on the private school fees. Yeah. Cutting taxes on a certain sector will just mean that the expenditure will move into the lower tax sector and you'll get lower tax bills.
Yep.
Man, so towards the back there. Yes, with the white shirt, yeah.
Couldn't Labour really foresee the problems that's coming down the way within the coming years and really do their finances and plan their finances accordingly?
Can Labour not foresee them? Is that what you're asking? I couldn't quite hear.
Yes, couldn't Labour foresee the...
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ, what a stupid fucking question. In a way, no, they can't, because of course, I mean, Ken Clark is right. Events, dear boy, events. Yeah, you can't. No, I mean, you could have predicted that there was going to be a crash at some point, but no one knew it was going to happen in 2009, or the depth of it, or exactly which banks were going to get fucked and all the rest. Like, there were lots of issues around that, and how the government dealt with it was, you know, a mixed bag, shall we say. Whereas there are obviously some things you can plan for, and you need a certain amount of wiggle room so that you can adjust accordingly. But like, that's such a pointlessly broad question, really.
Budget challenges coming in the way.
Them, yeah. Okay, and then there was someone. Oh yes, with the glasses, man with the glasses.
Zarah doesn't realise it's the rich who pay most of the taxes. You start taxing the rich will leave, and the poor...
Okay, and we'll take all their shit.
Yeah, first of all, very little evidence of this. Second of all, you can do an exit tax. Third of all, he's mixing up the rich with high earners. High earners pay most taxes in this country. We tax high earners at a reasonable amount with a progressive taxation system. But someone who earns a lot of money in a job that they do on PAYE is not the same as somebody who sits on a giant fucking portfolio of assets paying capital gains. These are two completely different things, and he's an idiot for trying to claim that they are. And
just look at the way he's dressed. This is a person who doesn't work for a living. He just doesn't. He owns properties or some shit. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Poor will stay even poorer.
They won't leave.
They are leaving.
They will not leave.
They're
They
already
will not
leaving.
leave.
They will leave.
This is some scaremongering that's done. That if you tax the super rich, and like I said, the 20,000 people in the country have assets over £10 million, they are not going to leave their assets and just move to another country.
Yes, they are.
Their kids are in the private schools here. Their culture, their lifestyle is very much in this country. And I think that's scaremongering to justify nurses and teachers in Coventry South paying more taxes than the billionaires, than Amazon and Facebook, who get to negotiate their taxation deals with the government. I think that's criminally unfair. I think we shouldn't be taxing work.
We shouldn't be negotiating with them. We say, if you want to do business, this is the rate of tax you'll pay here.
We're a £1 trillion economy. Would you like access? Pay your fucking taxes.
Yeah.
Taxing wealth more.
I just want to come in on the. I just want. Thank you. I just want to come in. It's really wrong to say that that high wealth taxes, high taxation doesn't drive away the wealthy. It really does. 17,000 high net worth individuals left this country last year, but worse than that,
no, he's wrong.
150,000.
No, they estimated this from a subsample of LinkedIn posts. He's talking nonsense.
Yep.
Young people, talented young people, have left this country because they don't see this country as being the place for them. So that is the chronic result of a system and a government that doesn't respect wealth creation and that thinks, as you do, that somehow people with wealth have somehow stolen it from other people and that it should be...
They have.
Yeah, it's surplus value, mate.
Yeah.
Removed from them by the government and redistributed. Of course, they do pay their fair share. Well, we can argue about that.
No, wealth isn't taxed as fairly as work.
No, but hang on. The wealthiest people do pay proportionately far more of their income and, of course, their wealth than other people. And as the gentleman says, this is the
No, that isn't true. You're just lying.
Yeah, Rishi Sunak,
growth in our country.
A very wealthy man, not a big salary as an MP, £90,000, but he makes lots of money in capital gains because he's got a trust paying out dividends to him, pays a lower overall effective tax rate on his entire income than a fucking Bantu nurse does. Because his wealth that is not being taxed enough. His work is taxed perfectly reasonably because he's a high earner in our taxation system. Not a super high earner, but a high earner. But he's a very high wealth individual, and that wealth is not being taxed.
Yeah.
We have to get behind the wealth creators. That is the only place to get taxation from.
Workers are wealth creators.
I was about to say, yeah, we absolutely need to get behind the wealth creators, which is why we should quadruple the national minimum wage.
It's the source of jobs. It's the source of the businesses that we all rely on. We need to get behind entrepreneurs, yes, tax them properly, but crucially invite the wealthy of the world to come and set up businesses here, invest in our country, and stay here and make a home. We will all be the beneficiaries of that.
All right, I've got 10 minutes left, and I want to fit in this question, because lots of you asked all sorts of questions about social media tonight, and they seem to more or less focus around this one. So, Margot Vitale, there you are.
Should we follow Australia's lead and ban social media for people under 16?
Yes.
No. It's 12:15. I don't care.
I do not give a fucking... I do not give a shit about this social media ban stuff.
No. So...
Because again, they're not going to talk about the companies. They're not going to talk about the incentives. They're not going to talk about all of that. They're just going to talk about, phones bad. Phones, bad. Phones bad.
Young
bad.
people on their phones, that's the only problem. The fact that we've stolen their future is irrelevant.
Yeah, literally.
So, yeah, fuck that noise. It's midnight, so I'm going the fuck to bed.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? To a brighter future of socialism. Fuck yes.
And a free Palestine from river to sea.
Well, that is also true, but more specifically, which channels am I going to send people to?
Yeah. Should we go? Lux Progressive. They're watching Lena Khan and
yeah, I'm
John
down
Stewart.
With that. Yeah. Lux Progressive is a good, but that's not the person I'm looking for at all. Lux Progressive. There we go. Okie doke. I'll be back later today. Probably I'll do a football-y thing and then maybe a politics-y thing afterwards as well, because there are games on and things. Everyone go and follow No Justice MTG on the various platforms.
Likewise, the same with Careflug on 1875. And I'll see everyone tomorrow.
Indeed. Free Palestine.
See you, Pat. Bye-bye.
Bye.